everybody? Welcome back once again to the Slime Light Novel Light Streams. Two people are not on camera, but that's okay.
I'm just working on it.
Give me a sec.
No! Usually they're on camera by this point. So I'm just giving them guff. Alright. Quick Fat Dog updates. If you have not seen it, we have posted a video. Really short video, like 30-something seconds, of all the upcoming projects. Right now, even though it's in the middle of copyright hell, and we have a strike on the channel right now, Shield Hero has come out. If you would like to watch Shield Hero Abridged, go to our Patreon. No joke. It's up for free on our Patreon right now. You can watch it via Mega, though we are looking at other ways that people can view it instead of just going to Mega. It is what it is. We'll figure it out as time goes on. If we find a new way to put up content online, we'll do it or not necessarily online, but if we find a new way to put content up, make it viewable on Patreon, that's what we'll do. That having been said, yeah, please go watch it if you haven't already. It's actually pretty good. I mean,
I watched it the other day.
Actually. I have no bias in this. I'm plugging a show that I did not do much of anything in. I voiced one of the thugs that ends up getting killed later. That's it. Yeah. That's all my involvement. I did not write. I did not direct. I just once again voiced another dead person for Tony. That
you do that a lot, I think.
I do. I in most of Tony's projects, I voice people that die, which is why to get even, when we get there, the 20,000 soldiers that all get murdered by Rimuru will all be voiced by Tony. Fat Tony.
Each and every single one.
Each and every fucking one. So I'm going to make him do so many different voices. I was like, die in this voice. Now die in this voice.
I just want one to be like, what the heck is going on? It's just like, no, Palpy, no.
He can't do that. We can't have that happen, Sonic. You can't die as Palpy because the king is in that scene.
Oh.
Yeah. And we can't kill the king. Have you learned nothing from our past Slime Light
novel? The king
is
dead. Long live the king.
All right. Anyway. So we went through all of that. Speaking of the quote-unquote legal hassle stuff and whatnot, if you have not seen, we made it through the issues that we were having. YouTube went ahead and sent everything through. Jesus Christ, all I see are redeems for exercises. Somebody wants me to fucking die today. Thank you. Praise
Spider watched Revenge last week.
Oh yeah, so. We did miss this, so praise Arceus.
Praise Arceus.
Praise Arceus. Yes. Praise Arceus.
I don't have
it. He was not expecting. He was not expecting anime church today.
You know what?
Praise Arceus.
So
I don't have Arceus, so I'll just bring the
minister.
Here.
Praise Arceus. Yes.
Praise Arceus. If you request it,
that is the betrayer. That is the dark one. How dare you?
If you request it, we will.
He's cool though.
If you request it, if you also request it, we will bring the Bishop of Best Boys back here onto the stream. That having been said, though, gang, YouTube sent the claim on through, so we are good on that end.
Okay, I'm gonna start writing down the exercises.
Why? I've got a way to look at them. I've got a way to look at them and have them counted. We're good.
So much better.
Ari in the chat?
Cool.
Ari usually does it, but I don't know if she's in the chat.
What are you doing?
Again, right now, I can just click on them to look at manage requests and stuff like that, and I see that we've got 30 crunches, 30 push-ups, 30 heel touches, 30 seconds of planks, 30 squats, and 30 jumping jacks.
Okay.
So right now, we've got 30 of everything. Dude, 30's not bad.
No, it ain't.
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
I
did still my toe last Friday pretty bad, but I think.
Yeah, I think just do what you can.
Oh no, what a life-threatening injury.
Oh god.
It hurt a lot. I got sick once the week before.
I gotta go walk my car.
But I did stub my toe last Friday, and it was like, bro, it's Monday. Have you not recovered?
No.
Yeah, well, I was saying, like, I'm saying I'm okay now.
Oh.
But back then, it was
gee,
like,
look
I
at
didn't
this.
want that.
Gee, look at the time. I
man,
gotta go
oh,
wash
yeah.
It
my
was like,
car.
oh gee, what a tragedy.
Let me go stub my other toe. Oh, geez,
The mage at the
let's
party
go
stubbed
stub my
his
other
toe.
toe
He
real
was
quick.
out for 3 days.
All right, we got 2
Hey.
more minutes to get through this shit. All right, so guys, if you have not checked all those things out, please go over to the YouTube channel, watch those videos, give it some love, head over to Patreon and check out the Shield Hero Bridge. Now, the update, as we said with all the upcoming projects, the thing that we're working on now, I say we, but it's mostly just Calvin. 100%, we are now fully focused. No other projects are being worked on right now. We're getting the Carry On My Wayward Son full cover done. We're tired of hearing about it. We had other stuff that we were trying to do. So we could either put out that, or we could work on our abridged content that everybody won't shut the fuck up about. Did you know it's been over a year since we released Slime 8? Yeah, we knew.
Has it?
And then our audience started yelling at us about it, and my immediate response was like, look, it gets done when it gets done. I want to turn in the best possible thing that we can, and we've got music and stuff that we've got to record for Slime 9 too. And it's not going to be...
Don't you guys cry no more. There we go.
And it's going to be a full cover, and we're going to put it up on, like, wherever it is that we put our music up, wherever we decide it's going to go. And that's that. And it's going to take a little while to do because it costs money to, like, we're paying people to sing for us. We're not asking them to do it out of the kindness of their hearts. We're literally going to pay people to do this shit. So
Singing is a lot of work.
So what we probably will do, if you want it to go fast, we will probably put up a donation incentive. And then it's going to be like, hey, we need to reach this amount of money for the donation to pay everybody. Or we may just do it one at a time. Hey, we need a donation incentive to pay this person because they're about to sing for us. Okay, cool. Here it is. And then we just do it. Just straight up do it. And we have them sing. And that will be that. And so that's what we're looking at right now. If you want Slime 9 faster, we'll probably have to do a donation for it. If you don't want Slime, if you want us to be slow, then we have to pay each person individually each month. And that means it's going to take us somewhere around 4 to 6 months to get the episode out. That's realistically what we're looking at, because we're losing patrons. We're not, and that's partially on us. We're not as active as we probably should be. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on. It's like, hey, we're not posting about this project that you're really interested in, and we probably should be. Oops.
Stuff happens.
So try to be upfront and honest about all the stuff that's going on right now, but we will sit down and talk about those things and make sure that our patrons are up to date. If you have not joined the Fat Dog Discord, we kind of talk about that a lot on the Discord. We're very, very active in the patron chat on Discord. But we need to be active on Patreon itself. We're working on that, and we'll get to it. I don't have access to... I don't have access to our Patreon. If I did, I would be posting on our Patreon. That having been said, yeah, let's go ahead and get to it, guys.
That's not the line.
We've got a lot of...
That's not the voice.
You shut the fuck up. We've got a lot to go through. This may be another 2-parter. I really hope it isn't, but you know, it probably will be.
We'll say this for now, and then we'll see how it goes.
No, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be, because we're 174 right now, and we have to get to 234.
Yeah, that's quite a bit.
That's quite a lot.
That's a pretty good bit.
That's 60. That's like over 60 pages right now. Well, about 60 pages. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I would say that's 55 pages. Yeah.
Okay.
And we only have... The good news... No, that's 54 pages, because we have one image in this.
Yay, images.
Yeah.
Images. So, with that having been
Pictures.
said, it is time for us to get started. And you know what that means? It means, ladies and gentlemen of the congregation, please open your holy books of Remuism to chapter 4 of volume 7 of the book of our Lord and Savior
My
Rimuru.
headphones shake too much. I can't shake my head.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say that if you guys haven't checked it out, we have a new series on the Twitch channel called The Chuckleheads, which is literally a bunch of us idiots sitting around play. It's me and Rick and DDA and also now Lady and possibly Fell just being stupid playing video games. And right now the game that we're playing is The Forest. If you're not familiar with The Forest, well, it is a survival horror. But it's heavy on the survival. It's like if Minecraft had really good graphics, but also you were surrounded by mutants and cannibals.
I mean, I guess compared to Minecraft graphic standards.
Oh wait,
yeah.
I'm sorry. You're surrounded by what again, Richie?
Mutants
Sorry,
and cannibals.
I don't know what the theme for cannibals is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, what was the song from Hannibal Lecter or Silence of the Lambs?
The cannibal song is num 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 num. There we go. All right, guys.
God, that brings back memories.
Or
Anyway,
it's the X-Men theme backwards.
It is no, no.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We are
Of the
beginning.
congregation.
Okay.
The second confrontation.
I hate you so much for that.
What?
I go, all right, ladies and gentlemen, and Sonic says like of the congregation. I'm like, no, we already did this bit.
I should have done like a little.
I'm speeding through it.
You shut up,
Being
Palpy.
funny.
You keep your dark side to yourself until it's your turn to read.
Never. The dark side is a pathway to many abilities you would seem to be unnatural.
I'll unnaturally remove your head up your butt.
I remember when Anakin said that. That was pretty cool.
Why did he say that?
It was after like the third evil head turn, right?
No, it was Mace Windu. He was like, "I'll unnaturally move that head off your fucking body."
Yeah, dude, that was the special edition of the special edition. So.
That makes
There's
sense.
not been a special edition of the prequels.
Oh, yeah.
How funny is that?
There's no life day for the prequel series. Yeah.
However, there is a
This motherfucker is too dangerous to be kept alive.
However, there is a fan edit of the prequels called the non-cheese edition, where they cut out all the. No, literally, they cut out a bunch of the cheesiness.
Was it like One Piece?
They cut out a lot.
They
cut out a lot of the cheesiness, and they replace all the Nemoidian dialogue with like to make it sound like an alien language, and they like give some bass and volume to it, so that it sounds the performances are different, and then they subtitle the aliens, and it's like it changes the entire dynamic. Episode 1 was really entertaining. The non-cheesy.
You need to send me a link to that.
It's on.
I want to watch that. You gotta send me a link to that.
I think it's on Google Drive. You can find it. Yeah.
Please tell me that though.
Oh.
Did Watto shoot
Link?
first?
What?
I'm pretty sure he did.
No, he didn't.
McClunky.
Poodle. Just keep in mind they still do that moment where Sebulba's pod racer breaks down. And he goes Poodle. They keep that.
Yeah.
Poodle. That was really good.
No,
you know what would be funny when he says that they have to censor that because like he said a swear.
Just straight up.
Just for the comedic effect. Yeah, it's that the Immortian version of the word.
Right, anyway.
Poodoo just means fodder, specifically banta fodder.
Poodoo means shit.
Hi.
I thought that's
Canon now. Pop it from the back head cannon.
Guess what fodder is?
Ooh,
shit.
Yeah,
shit. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Droppings, excrement.
Yeah.
Feces.
AKA shit.
Yeah.
It's literally
like I said, just shit. It'll be funny.
Poodle.
Wait, I thought fodder was food.
No. You don't.
Cannon fodder? Cannon food? No, that's not right.
Bruh, I just
it's in the same
Googled it.
track, so.
food, especially dried hay or feed for cattle and other livestock.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh.
Uh-huh.
That's why
Oh,
whenever
you're
they
gonna eat
say
that?
they're gonna make someone banta poodoo, banta fodder, and
Lunchtime.
feed them to the bantas.
Maybe he just said lunchtime like he
No,
was hungry.
they don't.
Like he's
They
like,
don't. They
yeah,
don't
it's
say they're
lunchtime.
gonna be bantha poodoo. They say they are bantha poodoo. No, poodoo is still shit.
No.
Poodoo equals shit.
I understood that.
Whatever. We could argue about this for the next hour, or we could read a book.
All right, let's argue about this for the next hour.
Oh God.
All right, let's go.
We're doing it.
Put the book away. Put the book away, guys. This
I'm
is
just
now a
engaging
Star
for
Wars
the good
debate
of the
stream.
people. You want to have this argument? Let's go, boy.
Should I put on the robe and be the intermediary and decide what's what?
Hold on. Did you just call me boy?
Sure.
I kind of lost track of it.
Listen here,
I
toddler.
did not hear any of that.
I didn't mean either. I kind of lost
Listen,
track of what happened.
No,
there.
he go. Let's go, boy. And I was like, okay, hold on. Listen here,
it's different,
toddler.
He said BOI, like boy.
No,
not
no,
boy.
he didn't.
Boy.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Oh,
I know. I was just trying.
Oh no, he fucking didn't. I am
I'm
40 years
giving it
old.
up.
I'm not gonna take this disrespect from a child.
Boy. Unless he meant buoy, like
Okay,
you know, like the floaty
fine,
thing.
old man. That's what I'll call you for the rest of your life.
Goddamn right.
All right.
Can I
All
call
right,
you?
Grandpa, go
Timer?
take your back.
Careful, you might get a heart attack.
Can I call you Gigi, like Jotaro
You know,
does?
you know what would help me
Yeah,
avoid
GG.
my heart attack? If you get off my fucking lawn!
Yeah.
Oh god, you gotta
Alright.
go full Monster House now.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Here we go.
I like that movie, especially when the
Alright.
guy grabs the thing, goes, and then fucking leaves. My favorite.
That exact scene.
It's my favorite scene in the whole movie.
Oh
Sorry.
shit, I gotta go.
He doesn't even say that. He just runs out the door. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
He didn't even chew it. He didn't even swallow it.
Fantastic.
He
As
made
far as
he
we
made
know.
a defiant
Yes.
statement and pulled through, and I'm so proud of him for that. It's a
It's
triumph in
fantastic.
animation.
The highway
That's
to
it.
the Dwarven Kingdom.
Yes.
I'm just gonna have to
Was.
interrupt. I'm just
Yeah?
gonna have to interrupt
Okay.
from now on, yeah. The
No, that
highway
works,
to
yeah.
the Dwarven Kingdom was complete, and we had a timetable in place for the road to Bloomond. But I just kept getting busier and busier. We needed to establish a new highway to the sorceress dynasty of Thalion, and Millam and her people needed an entire city planned for them. There was a ton to do, and in the process, we were also developing a massive festival and hatching a scheme to conquer the kingdom of Farmers. Remember, you fuckers, you can redeem new voices. You don't like this one, request a new one. As example, it could be this. And in the midst of all of this,
Mhm.
I received terrible news. Something like that. Developing
was
a
freaky.
massive festival and hatching a scheme to conquer the kingdom of Farmers. I knew becoming a demon lord would put a bunch more stuff on my plate, but this was pushing my workload to the absolute limit. And, in the midst of all this, I received terrible news from Soka. Hinata Sakaguchi was on the warpath, and she was headed straight for me. How could you give me such terrible news? Oh, God.
It was all coming together too.
And as Soka stood there, panting as he reported back to me, why was he panting? Oh my God, take a chill pill.
Dude, just
I
gotta
brought a hand,
work out, man. You really just.
Or I'm sorry, why is
Just not
she?
gotta
Why is
work out.
she panting? What the? Oh, Zoe's in the room. Never mind. Understood. I totally understand.
Sorry,
I
misread the
brought
situation.
I brought a
I'll
hand to
shut up.
my head. I was planning to inspect our forges today. Yeah, forges. That's what I meant. Totally meant forges. But instead, I canceled that and headed to my office so he could fill me in on the details. Oh God. Apparently, he told me she was traveling totally unaccompanied. Can you believe that? Alone? I'm gonna guess this is supposed to be Soe and not Soka, because Soka's a girl.
No, it says yes, she said.
No,
Oh.
he said on my side.
Oh, so it was the alone?
Yeah, no, the next part.
The yes, she said, looking straight
He's-
at me.
Well, in my book it says he.
That's weird. Mine
Yeah.
says
No, I'm
yes.
seeing she.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So in yours it was corrected, in mine it was fucked up. All right, so in the print
Yeah.
version it's wrong. Yes, she said, looking straight at me. Oh, Kermie. Nonzo reported from his viewing post outside the Lubelius barrier that he didn't see anyone leaving the holy city. Oh no, wait. No, that's still dialogue. Only Hinata, who told us to keep who you told us to keep an especially close eye out for, was seen in Inglacia. So his guidance had turned him into a master of espionage. If that's what he said, it had to be true. Wait a moment.
Just like Kermit.
Mhm.
The San Francisco treat. Ding ding.
Oh my god.
All right, anyway.
Like-
Have you returned back from the mission, Soka? I sure have.
You okay, Ahsoka?
No.
No.
She had,
Anyway.
she had a frog in her throat.
We had a
Eh.
collateral. A casualty.
I had a fog in my throat, but give me a minute. Let me finish. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You just
get
hear,
me out of here.
hold on a second, I have a frog in my throat. Yeah, she does.
It's just like really, just like.
Just a little
Did you-
bit of. Just a
Somebody,
little,
what do you hear that?
sorry, just a little
heard
bit of
again.
current dick down the windpipe.
I'm
Get me
just
out of here.
All right, anyway.
Did you? I swear I heard a frog somewhere. You screaming for help or something?
Anyway.
I heard someone. I don't know.
Then Toka, another guard under Soka's command, jumped out from her window. Or, no, his shadow. No, where's Shadow? What the fuck? Get the pronouns right, book!
I don't know.
This is unprofessional.
Mhm.
We've detected new movements. What happened? 4 paladins have appeared to join Hinata, Sir Soka. Why does it say Sir Soka? Madam.
Lady,
yeah,
lady, Soka.
Yeah, it says lady in ours.
What is happening?
I don't even think Sully's
Hard
here,
cut.
so that's
Shit.
weird.
Your book's wrong, man.
I'm not lying! It
Yeah.
said that shit! Yeah!
That's weird.
Oh,
It's
it
not me.
does. Okay,
It's not me,
whatever.
it's the fucking... Look, I literally just gave you guys evidence. You shut the fuck up. Don't you judge me.
Well, I couldn't see it from my screen, but I'm
Bitch.
believing you.
Don't judge me, bitch. Don't judge me, bitch. I never gonna... Alright, here. Full screen. Full screen. You'll see it.
Okay, hang on. Gotta put you in the focus.
Yes, he is right, Sir Soka.
Oh wow, yeah, no, that's
Told
really
you.
that's
It
stupid.
says
Ah,
this
you got
shit.
the
It's an-
exclusive. You got the exclusive transitionary volume. That's cool. Congratulations to him.
This is for that one little period of time where Soka was actually... Oh, hold on. I had to fix the focus.
The focus. Yeah, okay.
It's still out of focus.
Yeah.
It'll come back.
Yep.
Talk to the hand. Cause the Soka ain't having it.
All the single ladies. All the single ladies. All the single ladies.
Now
It's
put
my
your
favorite
hands
song
up.
from AC/DC.
There you go.
If you're not doing shit, put a ring
Can
on
you
it.
guys
Okay.
see me clear enough at this point? Or
Yeah, no, you were fine
Yeah, I can see
before.
I can see clearly now. The rain is gone.
okay.
I know that song.
I can see all obstacles in my way. It just looks like I'm
Yeah.
still kind of
Like
Blur,
grainy.
blur. Yeah, I mean, it should, I think, in time come back to you, but who knows?
I think you look fine, but I don't know. Let me look at the screen.
I look fine when I as you're observing me.
If
through
anything, this
lenses
is
with Vaseline on
improvement.
it.
That's what he's saying.
That's what he's saying.
Sorry,
yeah,
I am
yeah.
looking unrespectfully, Richie.
Yes,
Pardon me.
very unrespectfully at me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
through that filter of Vaseline.
Ew.
Hey,
No,
that's how you make the speeders work.
No. Do you not know? They put Vaseline on the camera lens sometimes.
Really? I didn't know that was a thing.
So
Yeah.
that's how
I'm
they
assuming
made
to clean it.
the original speeder effects, and that's also what they did for what was it? Christmas Story.
That's kind of cool. I actually
Yeah.
did not know that. I
Ooh.
didn't know that was a
Yeah.
technique.
Yeah, that's a
I
technique.
thought it would
that
make
they
it
use.
worse.
That's what made
well, no,
the Christmas
that's-
Story look like just had that sheen to it.
Yeah, no. It depends on how much you put on. Like sometimes you can have a thin film, and other times you can put a big film on there to like if you're trying to create a blur on the camera, smudge a little Vaseline on there.
That's kind of cool. I didn't know that.
Behind the scenes tricks, man.
Today I learned.
The more you know.
Exactly. The oldies are the goodies. All right.
Oh, I turned my camera off. Nice.
Good
Turn my camera
job.
on.
No, you're still there. Oh, there we go.
The
Yeah,
light.
sorry. I like waved my arms and then the light turned off.
Blinded by the light.
Anyway.
Revved up
We're just-
like a
We're
deuce.
messing with our cameras way too
During
much
the
here.
night.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna be too far.
Just 4? Yes, sir. But all appear to be very powerful. They use some kind of magic to shake us off their tail almost immediately. Toka looked chagrined as he gave us the news. What was that all about? Did she leave without telling anyone? And they came running after her? She seemed doubtful. Were they staggering their deployment in anticipation of being watched? No, they'd be a lot more careful if those were their tactics. I couldn't say, but I had to hand it to Hinata. Always one step ahead of me. No, you guessed it right the first time, dumbass.
Yeah.
Overthinking things. All right. Shrugging off anyone who'd drag her down and attempting to strike us with only the best people she had. Maybe she thought that anything less would just get in the way. So, I guess Hinata wants to fight us, huh? I didn't want to think about combat with her very much, but it all come down to the actions she chose to take. I doubt I'd lose to her that easily now, but I couldn't trifle with her. I was hoping my message would open her mind to the thought of talking things over, but that's unclear. She was carrying this odd-looking sword, however, so I doubt she is coming on friendly terms. She's armed, huh? Well, being armed was a given in this world, and it's not like she would have marched to a demon lord empty-handed. It'd be rash to assume this meant she was fighting in a fighting mood. I don't know. That's not enough to make a decision. The Crusaders were fully armed as well. Oh, really? Like full on? Yes, full on, sir. Full on. Well, those paladins joining Hinata for battle. With those paladins joining Hinata ready for battle, I had a feeling a fight was coming up. It disappointed me. I was no fan of combat here. The move indicated that we were a thorn in her side and she wanted a way to deal with it. But what did she want after that? If we didn't try to understand each other, then one side would have to be eliminated. It'd be a huge life and death struggle. If Hinata declined to talk to us, we'd have to force our will on her in any way possible. She refused to look at the matter from any perspective. She refused to look at the matter from our perspective. I can't take my time. We wasted almost 20 minutes of it.
And
We already know it's going to be a
more.
two-parter.
Just accept it.
Shut the fuck up.
We're wasting more right now by you stopping.
I would stop less if you guys didn't interrupt me. And I'm still
We
blurry.
didn't.
You're doing a good job.
He did.
You did.
Me or nice? You? Him? Over there?
I think
Moon
it's funny.
interrupted
We're all
me.
on
You're
different
keeping
spots.
it going. Man. She refused to look at the matter from our perspective. She refused to lend an ear to our words. I can't really call that the high road in any real way. Didn't Hinata get that? She had never really listened to me since we first met, but I didn't think she was that close-minded. Was her luminism the cause of it? Maybe she didn't see why a monster like me deserved to be listened to. I'm sure her faith served her well in many aspects, It was important to her, but I wasn't so sure blind belief was in her best interest. Anyone living in the modern day Japan would feel that way, given all the blood that's been spilled in the name of religion. It's important to use your eyes and ears and think with your own head. Otherwise, you're just shutting off your mind, right? It's stupid. Regardless, it was up to her to use the information she had at hand. What would she decide on? How would she act? That was all her problem. If Hinata decided to be hostile to us, I was ready for it. Bad news always comes in waves. Oh, hang on. Alright, that's at least a little more clear. Huh. I shook my head, trying to readjust my thoughts. Oh well, I'll gather my staff and work out a plan. With Hinata potentially attacking soon, we couldn't afford to be idle. Even if there were only 5 of them. Those guys were nothing to sniff at. Whenever a demon lord was defeated, it was almost always by a hero and their hand-picked companions. I hadn't set out to become a demon lord myself, but now that I wasn't going to sit here and let myself be defeated. We needed to decide who'd tackle those 4 paladins while I engaged Hinata. Then Diablo appeared, and a rather somber look on his face. Sir Rimuru, I have a report, he said, having trouble getting the words out. What's up? Do we have a problem? It had to be that. Diablo's usual confidence was nowhere to be found. Yes, we do. What is it? Rahim is dead. I am unsure of the cause, but he was likely killed. He was in perfect health the last time I saw him, so it was either an accident or murder. He paused, looking apologetically at me. This is my fault, Sir Rimuru. After all, you're concerned about him being silenced. I did say something offhand about that, didn't I? I didn't think it actually happened. We have no idea what had taken place. It all happened inside the barrier that covered the holy empire of Lubelius. Given the situation, however, Diablo seemed pretty convinced that he was killed. Things were starting to seem far more serious. There are rumors spreading around Pharmus' neighboring nations, he bitterly continued. They speak of a demon scheming to kill the archbishop. Someone is using magical means to disseminate the news, and the temple knights have been deployed in response. Once they are finished preparing in a few days, I believe they will join the forces of King Edward. This was not at all part of Diablo's plans. In fact, it could have a seriously adverse effect on them. And of course, it's all happening just as Hinata goes on the move. No doubt about it. Understood. It is thought that everything is connected. Yeah, even I can see that. Did Raphael think I was so hopeless that I wouldn't, or what? Come on. Raphael can be such a pain sometimes. But this was the last thing I needed. The Holy Church hadn't marked me a divine enemy yet. But that was probably just a matter of time now. And once the official decree was sent out, it'd be impossible to avoid all-out war. They aren't going to say, oops, our mistake, and take that back. So, I ordered Soka to assemble my staff. All I wanted to think about was developing my nation. That no longer seemed possible. Okay. Jesus Christ. Shem, your turn.
Okay. It was time for an emergency meeting. All hands on deck, except for Geld. Are you sure we shouldn't call for Geld as well, Sir Rimuru? Yeah, he's working hard on his project for me. This is a problem between Hinata and me. Whether it turns into a fight or not, we don't need a huge army. This wasn't some frantic border defense. It didn't seem right to counter a team of 5 with our entire military. I mean, with the huge gaps between the weaker and stronger inhabitants of this world, numbers didn't seem to even mean anything a lot of the time. The paladins coming our way would each be ranked an A or higher, so we'd need our main team on the front lines to fight back. Besides, calling Geld and his entire team back here would be a logistical nightmare. I could use my transfer magic to bring them back, but it'd take too much time to get them where they needed to be. We would need someone to watch the prisoners too. We couldn't afford to be haphazard with that. Accepting my reasoning, my staff sat there and listened to Soe relay the situation. Alright. First, a party of 5 led by Hinata, captain of the Crusaders, is traveling towards Tempest. Her companions are all high-level Crusader troops, and they successfully eluded the attempts of Sokka's team to track them. Soe's briefing sent murmurs across the audience. Very quiet murmurs. Sokka and her team were all A level or so, too, and they still couldn't keep up. That showed the kind of threat we were dealing with. They probably would have managed it if they were up in the air. If they were up in the air. But flying would make them too conspicuous. They were right not to push their luck, but thanks to the alert network we had built around town, Soe was already staying abreast of Hinata's progress. Abreast. Unfortunately,
What?
information is key. Nothing.
I don't know
Information
what
is
that
key
word
to any
is.
strategy, as was making ample preparations so you didn't have to freak out later. I had to hand it to Soe, though. His intelligence gathering skills were phenomenal. Hiring informants to feed him data, disguising his own replications to send out in the field. I had taught him a bit about the ninjas from my world, and he had plainly been developing that in his own style. I had called him my shadow, and it turned out he was an incredible fit for the job. Between that and the practical instructions I had Fuse give him, he was a professional spy by now. If anyone could take the weird Earth stuff I taught him and leverage to this extent, I'd never have to do any. Sorry,
I love
is
it.
full of taffy. I'd never have anything to worry about. So I was training and educating Sokka and the rest of her team too, even using locals to gather information for him. By this point, he could handle all of that without me directing him to. Seeing him there, providing his briefing like it was his duty, made me feel proud. The temple knights in the farmist area are being deployed to the border areas of its neighbors, effectively forming a ring around the nation. They are moving quickly in small groups, and I believe they number over 30,000. Their mission is to destroy the demon, and they do not appear interested in meddling with the civil war itself. If this keeps up, however, we cannot expect much support for Suriyom from any of the powerful nobles in and around Farmus. Diablo grew notably paler. He had picked up on his same information, though, and it didn't seem to surprise him. There was no doubting which demon he was referred to, and he was probably dying to know how word got out about him. 30,000, though. Funny how all these knights from the surrounding nations, a few hundred here, a few thousand there, could turn into such a big force. How do they keep forgetting about that stuff? Sorry.
Because I just
That
don't
couldn't
care.
be ignored. Yeah. That couldn't be ignored, and they could also be indefinitely supplied from the villages. If this turned into a war of attrition, Yom's side would have the disadvantage. However, the kings of Farmus's associated neighbors are not following the Western Holy Church's lead. None of them would have mobilized their armies. It would seem the church has its own internal factions as well, which complicates the chain of command of the area. It would be easier to grasp the situation if we had a better idea of their internals. So he shook his head, a little ashamed at the information lacking in his report. Yeah, they're kind of a mystery group, aren't they? Even Yuki claimed not to know much about them. Plus, the Temple Knights seem to be lower on the totem pole than the Crusaders. We should have asked Rahim about this, a dejected Diablo commented. He was always pretty self-sufficient, never bothering to ask for feedback from someone he saw as lower than him. That came back to bite him here. Exactly. This is your failure, Diablo. It'd be better for all of us if someone more experienced, like me, took command. Shion preyed upon the chance, of course. She must have hated seeing the new guy get a big job like that. And as ready as he usually was to fire back at her, Diablo remained silent this time. Ah well, maybe I'll ask her instead. Actually, Shion, if I let you handle the Farmus invasion, what would you do? Maybe, it's not impossible. Maybe she actually had a decent strategy in mind. I would lead an army into the kingdom and kill everyone in the noble classes, Sir Rimuru. Maybe not. No, alright? You dumbass. If we killed everyone in the ruling class, the power vacuum would lead to a complex, multi-sided civil war. Without someone to support, you'd have all kinds of would-be warlords vying for power. The best way to keep casualties to a minimum was to retain the current system, replace the figurehead up top, and slowly let the new one take hold. That was why I had the more intelligent Diablo handle this. Shion just wasn't up to it. No? Alright. Even she must
I
have
love
realized how foolish it was. What?
I love the idea of her being like, no,
Yeah,
I can't.
okay.
Oh. Like a sad puppy.
I can't kill and slaughter millions of nobles?
But it would be so much
Aw.
fun.
Yeah. She's slowly turning
Please.
into Albedo. Like this close. This fucking close.
She is
Anyway.
that series equivalent of her.
Yeah. Yep. She fell silent, standing up straight behind me. I wish she hadn't bothered to say it if she was aware of how stupid it'd make her look. But I wasn't sure she really wanted Diablo's job anyway. Or maybe this was her way of helping Diablo put this behind him. Either way, Diablo was still my man for this. Look, Diablo, everybody makes mistakes. Not even I thought Rayham would get himself killed. Plus, is it really that big a deal you've been found out? What? But Sir Rimuru, with all this talk about a demon on the loose, I could hardly. His concern mainly seemed to be about getting relieved of his position in this tribe. Listen, when you make a mistake, it's vital to think about how you can make up for it. Anyone can just throw it in and say, I quit if they mess up, alright? That's the easy way out. And besides, the general public already knows Yom is connected to me. You're a demon, but you're also a member of my staff. Who cares what people around Farmus are saying? What matters right now is who killed Rayham, alright? If we can prove it wasn't you, then we're all good. You don't have to dwell on it that much. I'm literally a demon lord. Of course I'm going to have a demon or two on my payroll. You're right, said Shuna. And I doubt you wanted to replace him with Shion anyway. You're wrong, You're wrong, Lady Shuna. If it were me, I would turn the kingdom of Farmus into a wasteland of... Shion's voice trailed off as Shuna gave her a withering stare. Those eyes were just too sharp for her to deal with. He wasn't going to, Shuna continued in her strong but stern voice. I appreciate your encouragement, Shion. Clumsy as it might have been. We are all part of Sir Rimuru's staff. We cannot allow small mistakes to plunge us into depression. Lady Shuna, you are making too much of this demon's meager talents. As first secretary, I was simply teaching this upstart about the gravity of my post. The sneer she gave him had a little bit of shame tossed in. Maybe that was meant as encouragement. A little hard to follow, but that's Shion for you. Shuna picked up on it better than I did. Sometimes that dunderhead can be really smart. Well, Benimaru said, there you have it. The need for reinforcements will depend on our strategy. If worst come to worst, we'll bring Geld back and I'll take the front line. Numbers didn't concern him very much. What did was how they were going to use their forces. There wasn't a trace of doubt on his face. He looked like he was ready to take on every temple knight on the planet. I was glad I could trust him. So you want me to continue with the current plan? Of course, Diablo. I'm going to have my hands full of Hinata, so it's your job to handle the farm's takeover. I'm the one who gave you permission to send Rayham out in the first place. I'm partially at fault too. So I want you to see this to the end for me, okay? Or all right? Or is it starting to look like that won't be possible? In that case, oh, no, not at all. You were kind enough to give me this work, Sir Rimuru, and I hope you will let me take it to its conclusion. Can you do it? Of course. Good. I know you can make up for this. Diablo nodded. His ease and confidence returned. He ought to be fine for now. Sir Rimuru, Shina said as she smiled at this, I have a suggestion. Oh? I don't hear suggestions from you very much. If you want to say something, go right ahead. Why don't we try seeking the advice of Adelman? He was part of the Holy Church, albeit several centuries ago. Adelman? Richie.
1 second. 1 second.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
One Mississippi.
Understood. Adelman is the White King who defeated Clayman's castle.
Oh, right. The undead guy Shuna made friends with. I think he's just a regular white now, what with his power gone.
Oh, my
He
apologies.
totally...
There's 2 pictures.
Oh.
Good.
Let me see.
Cool.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I'll
Good.
Shuna and friends.
Actually, that does make a little bit of a difference. 2 pages less is a bit. So, anyway. I think he's just a regular white now, what with his power gone. He looked totally wowed when we met. Going on about how much of a god I am or something. I guess he's the type to go all in.
Sounds like a white supremacist.
Oh.
I couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
I can hardly believe it.
Going to
that he
hell
would
for
make a
that
joke
one.
like that.
I can hardly.
Haas is gonna have a war with you when
Alright,
he's
that
done.
was
When you're
also
done.
bad. I was going to hell for that one anyway, so I mean, it's fine.
You shouldn't be making those jokes. You're in the wrong hood.
That's true. That's true. I don't have the Palpatine hood, so I don't have anything to say, so it's fine. Anyway.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Don't forget
Going
your
on
white
about how much of a
pajamas.
god I am. What?
Don't
What did you
forget your
say?
white
There.
pajamas.
There it is.
Oh my god.
There it is. Happy?
Terrible.
You happy?
Those are terrible, not G-rated jokes. Anyway, that's a good cloak. Wear it for the rest of the stream. He looked totally wild when we met, going on about how much of a god I am or something. I guess he's the type to go all in on an idea once it creeps into his head. If he was part of the church, maybe he knows something about its inner workings. Things must have changed between now and then, but there's no harm asking. That's a good idea. Let's bring it up with him. At that moment, Adelman was working with Gabiru, handling research and security duties down in the sealed cave. I sent a thought communication Gabiru's way, ordering him to send Adelman up at once. He was with us in seconds, using teleportation magic to whisk himself to our meeting. Even as a white, he apparently could still cast the magic he learned during his living days, and it was pretty high caliber stuff. In terms of magic tools, he may only rank a B, but you couldn't afford to downplay his strength too much. He's intelligent and magically gifted enough. Maybe I should give him some better work. Of course, he was basically a walking skeleton, and his force of undead was weak against sunlight and incapable of speech. You could communicate with them more or less, but work around town might be a little tough. Let's think about that later then. Regardless, it was time to listen to him. Being granted with the tremendous good fortune of an audience with you, my lord, is the greatest honor that. Enough! He had been heaping praise upon me the entire time I was thinking about him. I was ignoring it, but it didn't seem to be ending anytime soon, so I finally yelled at him to shut up. Pretty intense guy. Shuan liked him. You have potential, I see. And Diablo gave him an approving smile, but the rest of my staff were a little put off by the display. That's good for now, Adelman, Shuna said. We all know you are happy to see Sir Rimuru, but we are short on time right now, so please go on with your business. Thanks, Shuna. If it wasn't for you, he might start openly praying to me next. With that kind of dogged faith, no wonder he was so strong. Kinda made sense. So, on to Adelman. It turns out that he was actually a Holy Church Cardinal, one of the highest positions in the whole bureaucracy. Lubelius wasn't a real powerhouse of a nation at the time, and the church wasn't the juggernaut it is now. But we still learned a great deal from him. First, he told us that the Holy Empire Lubelius is a religious state with the god Luminous at the peak. The Holy Emperor was considered the official spokesperson for this god. Her identity and appearance was unknown. The imperial throne may or may not be passed down from generation to generation, but Adelman, at least, never saw that happen. The nation's day-to-day operations were handled by the papacy? Yeah, the papacy, the main ruling authority. In Adelman's time, the entire Western Holy Church was merely a division of this papacy. The church began strictly as a missionary group to spread the good word about Luminism, he explained. It had no standing army at all. However, due to the danger involved with their fieldwork, the papacy formed the Temple Knights, working out agreements with the world's nations to build troop stations in their area of activity. They all welcomed the Knights, especially since the papacy was paying the tab, and promised to cooperate with them. Protecting the luminous faithful from the monster threats also helped keep the general public safe, so the generosity was understandable. Cool picture of Skelemang. As these relationships with foreign countries grew, there naturally began to be friction in certain areas. That created a need for the Master Rooks, a division that worked under the more direct control of the Holy Emperor, or Emperor. I call it a division, Adelman said. But in the beginning, it was a small handful of people. They all boasted tremendous strength and had the right to give orders to the Temple Knights. As a group, they pledged their loyalty strictly to Luminous and the Holy Emperor. Even the most powerful consuls in the papacy could no more than request their services, not order them. These consuls were the politicians of Lubelius. If not even they could order this division around, they had to be powerful indeed. By the way, my friend Alberto was invited to join this division once. He turned it down so he could serve as my aide in the Holy Church. The Holy Emperor rewarded him with the title of Acolyte. His jawbone clacked up and down in a show of what I assume was pride. Alberto was the Death Knight that gave Hakuro all that trouble, if I recall. He was now just a skeletal fighter, but between his sword skills and possessing a monster's strength, he'd give anyone a run for their money. However, I understand that things are quite different around the group now. Oops, Adelman still wasn't done talking. According to him, the biggest difference was the power the church had required. The Crusader Paladin Corps gave them much greater say in matters. Papal consuls were now largely picked from the Holy Church's cardinals, putting them in a much safer position than before. The 7 days clergy had a lot to do with that. When Adelman was there, this clergy also worked as consuls, enjoying power second only to the Holy Emperor. They were ordered to rebuild and shore up the church's position, and the changes they enacted created the church structure we know today. The 7 days clergy sounded kind of fishy to me, though. It sounded like they were the ones who tried to run Adelman and his friends out of the church, and he was clearly still no fan of theirs. Although the Crusaders performed a few noteworthy feats under the clergy's direction, Hinata's training had helped them grow into the strongest of Knight Corps. This was how Libelius had acquired both the Master Rooks and the Crusaders for itself. You seem to know a lot about this. You seem to know a lot about this, Adelman. Weren't you in Clayman's domain by this point in time? Adelman gave this question a clacking laugh. The demon Lord Clayman saw the Western Holy Church as his enemy. He feared its power to make war and gathered as much intelligence as he could about them. I was a leader in their bureaucracy, so even if he didn't accept my feedback, he still provided me with the information he had. That made sense. Clayman's near-obsessive wariness had unexpectedly helped us out. Please, my lord and savior Rimuru, be careful. Dubelius is home to a group of enlightened known as the 10 Great Saints, a cabal that even Clayman was afraid of. I must advise you not to let your guard down. He also mentioned the three battle sages, a group within the Master Rooks that was also enlightened class. This trio, along with 6 commander-level knights and Hinata, formed the 10 Great Saints, and enlightened was a human with powers on the same level as a would-be demon lord. And if they had 10 of those, no wonder they kept Clayman awake at night. It seemed pretty likely that Hinata's 4 companions on her current journey came from this group. Bringing regular soldiers along would just guarantee their deaths. Better to presume that the top brass would be knocking on our door. Plus, if the Temple Knights were being mobilized, it was safe to assume the Master Rooks were too, along with the 3 battle sages. My lord, please allow me as a former church cardinal to attempt to reason with this Hinata woman. I will gladly convince her to abandon her faith in the church and turn it towards you instead. Wait. I don't need any of that, so you can go. I put a stop to Adelman before things got any weirder. In a way, he was even worse than Hinata. Once his mind's made up, there's no derailing it. Talking with someone like him rarely results in anything useful. I see. A wonderful idea. Yes, there's always that. Yes, there's always that approach. And of course, Shion and Diablo loved it. What are you two idiots talking about? If we try to pull that crap on her, things are going to get even more complicated. Talk about being cut from the same cloth. I was starting to wonder if they actually liked more than they hated each other. Then there's an asterisk.
And that means it's time for Moon to take over.
Ah.
You got it. Go for it.
Yeah.
With Adelman gone, it was time to return to the topic at hand. We had all the info we needed. Now to devise some actual policies. First, I wanted to have some kind of throwaway piece I could use to gauge my opponent's power. Who would work for that? I could sense Veldora eagerly staring at me. No, Veldora, not you. That's too much. Veldora, you...
Ah! Finally! My turn in the spotlight? At your service!
No, Veldora, I want you to man our last line of defense.
What?
Did you hear me? The last line of defense. Doesn't that sound cool? You're the only person I could imagine for the job.
Of course. I thought so as well.
He nodded proudly. Great. Good thing I could corral him before he went berserk on me. Veldora would never lose in battle, but sending him out just wouldn't be the right thing to do. I thought. I hadn't given up all hope of talking things over with Hinata, so I couldn't just whip Veldora out at first sight, or even as primary backup. With Veldora placated, it was Benimaru who spoke next.
First, I will announce my assignments for Sir Yome's reinforcements.
Good. Benimaru was turning into quite the commander. He had gained a lot of experience in that previous battle, and unlike Shion, he wasn't letting it get to his head any longer. Now he could correctly analyze the data at hand and determine the differences between the two sides. I was still the commander-in-chief, but by this point, he was better suited for the job than I was. I mean, hell, I didn't really want to work that way anyway. Let's hope that Benimaru can grow into the role. With his loud, deep voice, Benimaru announced the assignments. The reinforcements would consist of 100 goblin riders, led by Gupta, 4,000 troops from Benimaru's green numbers, along with 100 members of Team Kurenai to lead them. The remaining 200 Kurenai members would stay back to protect the town, and 100 fighters from Gabiru's team. However you want to say that.
Hear you.
Thank you. Hear you. That was a force of 4,300 in total.
That is all. This will mean fewer troops guarding the town, but we have lycanthropers. lycanthropes among our fighters now, as well as Sir Veldora, so I don't anticipate that being a problem. Any feedback?
Whoa, me?
Is there a problem? Is there a problem with that, Gupta?
No. Benimaru's eyes were enough to clamp Gopta's mouth shut. Doofus.
Hakuro will be the supreme commander of this force. But don't worry, if anything happens, I will use spatial motion to back you up at once. Just keep it.
Is this still Benimaru?
Yeah,
Can't
this
tell.
is.
Okay.
Yeah, this is.
If anything happens, I'll use spatial motion to back you up at once. Just keep in mind that there's a good chance I will be fighting Hinata Sakaguchi myself. This might make it impossible to contact me, so try to follow Hakuro's orders as closely as possible.
Understood, sir.
Understood, sir.
Yeah.
Understood, sir, said Hakuro. It shall be this very battle, where my name will shine, cried Gabiru.
Yeah, all right, murmured Gopta. Hakuro and Gabiru were raring to go. Gopta frankly worried me a little, but he had a knack for working through crises. So he ought to be fine, I think. Maybe. I still worry, though. Ranga, are you awake? I addressed Ranga, currently sleeping in my shadow. He spent almost all this time in there lately, in part to guard me, but his magicule energy had been expanding in the weirdest way. He probably needed more exercise.
Will I be deployed, Master?
Yep, I need to get you running around now and then, you know? Follow Gopta and keep him safe.
I shall. A little wake-up exercise would be very kind to me.
Weird. I was getting the strangest feeling that unleashing this guy was going to be seriously bad news. For our foes, anyways. Oh, yeah, if
Ranga's joining me, I'll be totally fine.
Now, Gopta was showing some more enthusiasm. Looking out for number one, aren't you? Ranga, don't take any reckless risks, and try not to kill your opponents, all right?
It shall be done. Lady Shion has taught me how to restrain myself.
Great. Now I was really worried. I thought he was just spending all day sleeping in my shadow, but he was doing that too? Having Shion as his teacher filled me with anxiety, but hopefully it'd work out fine. We've got potions, I guess. Benimaru offered no objection, although his eyes indicated he thought I was spoiling Gopta. Thus, with a delighted howl, Ranga curled up next to Gopta. Let's just hope anyone who crosses him lives to tell the tale. I almost wanted to wish my opponents luck. We had our force assignments. Now we had to discuss the reinforcements Pharmas's new king was receiving. So, Diablo, tell me how you intend to proceed.
Thank you, sir. I was expecting reinforcements, but 30,000 is well beyond my projections. My original plan assumed a force of approximately 10,000 fighting for Edward.
His new plans began with having Edmaris send a letter to the new king once he began moving these troops around, asking him to explain his actions. Edward was no doubt planning to shift responsibility for the reparations to Edmaris, and I wanted to keep that from happening. The new king would no doubt say that any agreement Edmaris signed was null and void. That wouldn't pass muster with the council if Pharmas was part of it. It barely did with us, in fact. No, his plan likely involved executing Edmaris and, reneging on his promises to us. We'd then be angered enough to stage a military operation, and then the Western nations would join together to resist us. That kind of thing. To prevent that, Edmaris had been rescued by Yom's squad. He was lying low in Migum at the moment, which was just what we planned. Yom had a force of about 5,000 over there, and the original plan called for us to teleport 4,300 more to Migum for him. That's not a huge difference, but the psychological effect, the terror of having a brand new army appear out of nowhere behind the first one, would turn the tables during battle. But now that Edward had started assembling reinforcements, we couldn't use that. If we waited for him to get his whole force together, we'd be faced with a 4-against-1 disadvantage in numbers. The sooner we acted, the better.
It seems to me, concluded Diablo, that Edward is waiting for reinforcements he can use to strike Edmaris' domain.
The plan at this point had been to defeat Edward in one decisive battle or another, then have Edmaris endorse the champion, Yom, as king instead of reclaiming the throne. Currently, Edward has
Currently,
Oh.
Edward has access to a force of 20,000. No, that's Zoe. My bad.
Oh, sorry. I didn't even notice too.
Yep.
Oh,
I thought it was still Diablo. Anyway,
Yeah, same.
yeah. Currently, Edward has access to a force of 20,000.
Zoe commented.
Give him 3 more weeks, and the full force of 40,000 will be assembled. That's more than enough to take Migum, as weak as its rear guard currently is.
So the longer we wait, the worse things will get. But if we go all out right now, it's going to be full-on blood-soaked war. Farmers had already lost 20,000 troops. A dragged-out war could cause untold damage. So what then?
maybe 80%, give or take.
Yeah.
This is just the worst. We could always just give up on this, you know? If I forgive the remaining debt they owe us, we can avoid war that way, right? That'll eliminate the whole pretense for fighting us in the first place. We can't! Wait, who's saying this?
I actually have no idea. It's either Diablo or Zoe. I guess I
I'm
can. We can't. If we do that, Surimaru, you will look like a big pushover.
I wouldn't want that, no, but we've already profited from this big time. Wouldn't it be easier if we just stepped on the brakes and waited until after we've handled Hinata to deal with it? As far as I was concerned, we were paid more money than I ever expected to see from them. Cutting our losses now would still put us way ahead, and I felt that waging a war on 2 fronts would be too risky by comparison. Shion did have a point, though. Demon lords have a vested interest in being feared. Abandoning this plan would be unthinkable, Sir Rimuru. You are willing to let me handle this, yes? Yeah, but I don't want people to keep dying on my watch, whether they're involved with it or not. That will not be a problem. If that is your will, sir, then it is my duty to abide by it. It will be a simple task for me. I was seriously considering calling the whole thing off, but Diablo hadn't given up at all. What are you intending to do? I will find the culprit, he quietly replied. The evildoer who tried to pin the crime on me. Wow, he's pretty angry. Destroy the demon, they say. Destroy the demon, they say? He gave me a little grin. Well, if they want me eradicated, I will gladly serve as their opponent. Somewhere among this 30,000, there could be someone involved with the culprit. I will give them a gentle interrogation. Uh-oh. There wasn't a shred of gentleness about that, and Diablo sounded like he was ready to take on 30,000 Temple Knights by himself. Better rein him in a little bit. I see, Benimaru said, as I stewed over this. If you came out to engage them, we'd have nothing to worry about. But don't kill any innocents, all right? There is no need to remind me. I will never defy Sir Rimaru's will. Fair enough. In that case, Hakuro, can you suppress the new king's soldiers without killing any of them? It shouldn't be a problem. It would be easier to stage a surprise attack to end things quickly, but that would provide no training for us. True, Gabiru, we're going to need a great deal of potions. Certainly. I will be sure it is ready. Huh. Hello? I was being left in the dust. Shion smiled at me. Looks like the Farmus invasion is in good hands, Sir Rimuru. Yeah. Yeah. Good luck, guys. Yes, my lord, they all replied. With that, the conversation was over. Couldn't argue with that.
I feel like when it's multiple people saying a line like that, we should all just say it.
We could. Yeah.
The timing of that is difficult because,
Yeah.
first of all,
There's a delay on Discord.
there's such a delay. And, like, in order for it to sound the most synced, Richie would have to count it off because he's the one doing the stream.
Yeah.
Or we pre-record Yes, My Lord, but like in 15 different ways, and
Yeah.
we play it.
All
at
right.
max
Hey, Richie,
volume.
get a
Just
stream
startle
deck.
the
Get a stream
shit
deck.
out of the chat.
And that could just be a button.
No.
Yes.
Also, I refuse to say yes, my lord.
Yes, my lord.
Yes,
And actually coming
Yes,
up
my
with like
lord.
Discord, it just sound like
Lord.
like you got that, guys.
You're breaking up, my lord. My lord, you're breaking up. My lord? Hello?
Yep.
My lord?
Yep. It just
Lord?
sound bad. Be good.
Stormtrooper.
Come to bed.
Moving on.
Yep.
All right, well, that's another asterisk, so.
It's
Is that me?
Sonic. Yeah, go for it. I
Me,
think.
all right.
Hang on, what page are you guys on? What the
Kindle,
fuck?
we are on
You haven't been
192.
following along?
On
No.
Bookwalker 221.
Yeah.
You're just
50%
waiting for your line.
We were
It just
at
says
the point.
Yeah.
I didn't like how that was handled very much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna
Yeah.
keep. We're gonna keep going because, if we stop here, well, actually, if we stop here, then you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you got 4 pages you can read. So.
Me or Sonic.
Sonic, you can read the next 4 pages. Then go for it.
Cool.
You're gonna stop at. Huh? So there is room to talk then, kind of. All right. So
There's never room to talk. It's
Well,
only my opinion and
here's the
never
thing.
theirs.
the reason I'm saying that is because you're gonna have one set of 3 asterisks show up. We're going for the second 3 asterisks.
Interesting.
I'm trying to let you.
Oh,
read
so I
more
skip
than,
an asterisk.
I'm trying to
please.
let you read more than 2 pages.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we
That's
got this, bud.
I didn't like how that was handled very much. But either way, our discussion shift over to the next issue. Who would handle Hinata and her party? So, about the party of 5, Benimaru said, looking at me. All right, time to take the initiative on this one. But just as I was about to, Soe suddenly spoke up.
Sir Rimuru,
He said with a strained voice.
we have an emergency. The Crusaders have begun to move.
The room fell into a panic. Or at least I did. Or at least I did. Is something up with Hinata's team?
No.
No. Oh.
Hokuso, monitoring Inglacia, reported to me that he sighted 100 mounted knights departing at this very moment.
What?
Not the one I was expecting, but okay. They're half a day behind Hinata, but at this rate, they will catch up with them before long. They are headed in the same direction, at least, so it seems fair to assume they are coming our way.
Oh man, if they're just coming our way, that's fine. I mean, I was thinking, what?
Oh my god.
Sorry. I didn't even think about the first time I said that. I was doing more of a Tim Allen, what?
Christ.
Alright. Hinata was moving along at a regular, unhurried pace. Although her 4 paladins had used magic to catch up at full speed before slowing back down. There had reportedly been some disputes among the group when they rendezvoused, but they remained together, a team of 5 bound for our city. They were still in Inglacian land, headed towards Blumden.
Blumen.
Blumen.
Blumen,
Oh,
yeah.
Blumen,
Blument, yeah.
but
Blumen,
only
yeah.
at a relatively slow speed. If those 100 knights wanted to catch up with them, they could. However, instead of using the highway or another commonly used route, they were reportedly more likely to abandon their horses and take the old path into the forest instead. So they aren't trying to meet up with Hinata?
Their motives are unclear. It will take no less than 2 weeks for Hinata to arrive, and the knights behind her are likely going to take about the same time.
Soe, who was as confused about this as I was, ordered his force to tail them. We would just have to wait for further reports. Out of the frying pan into the fire, huh? Except I had the impression we hadn't left the frying pan at all. I really didn't like this. No point whining about it. Things were rapidly changing. My staff began to debate among themselves. I listened in, thinking over my options. There were 5 enlightened to deal with, not included, plus 100 paladins doing who knows what. This 100 was far more of a threat to us than 20,000 members of Pharmus' army. Hell, Hinata alone was way worse. That's just the way things worked in this world. Strength and numbers meant nothing against strength brought to loony extremes. No matter how many nameless mohawk wearing punks you lined up in a row, they weren't gonna beat up the fist of the North Star. Yeah.
Sorry.
You think about that?
Caught me
off guard.
You think about that
Go ahead.
shit, huh?
All right.
Even this has those kind of references.
I wasn't
They're
planning to
already
go out there. That seemed kind of suicidal to me. So what? Why not just kill them all instead of fretting about it? I probably don't need to say who suggested that. Life's so easy if you never use your brain at all, isn't it? Just focus on the results. Don't think about whether you can or can't do something. Of course, that's probably how she earned that freaky, unique skill of hers. But still, this would be exactly the kind of thing we could call upon Geld for, Haruko noted. Ah,
Takuro.
Takuro.
Mm-hmm.
He has his own task to deal with. He has his own task to deal with. Reason Benimaru. We must handle this out ourselves, unless there is truly no other recourse.
Recourse, yeah.
I hated to hear that, but they had a point. Should I really be so stubborn about keeping Geld out of this? I mean, we're only talking 100 people or so. There was no point deploying a massive force against it. It was already clearly something only our strongest people could deal with. If I was going to handle Hinata, someone else needed to keep the other four down for me. It'd be great if Hinata had agreed to my one-on-one offer, but taking on 5 people at once by myself was too risky. What do you think about this, Raphael?
Lord Minu-sama?
Hold on.
What do you think about this, Raphael? I need
No,
a
what
second
do you
This
think
is
opinion.
what
about
happens
this,
when you
bitch?
don't follow along, man.
Whoa, it's Mikey. Sorry.
I got other
Raphael.exe is updating.
Yeah, I got other shit I gotta do. This is not the only thing I gotta focus on.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, you guys goof off and get off topic all the time. I
didn't
take
say
3
anything.
or 5 seconds to get to the right point, and you give me shit. Fuck off.
I didn't say anything. I don't do nothing.
I'm mostly talking to Moon.
We at least follow along in the book.
Look,
Says the
I,
person. Says the
I have
person
long
that couldn't even
fingers.
show
I'm
up
really
yesterday.
good at pressing buttons.
Says the
I'm
person
really
that
good at pressing buttons.
says the minister that didn't even show up for church yesterday. Yeah.
Look,
When was
I
that
have
established?
some
Speaking of
important
him.
business.
Him.
Arceus calls, and you cannot reject
He was
that call.
taking
Okay?
a holy shit sign. I'm sorry.
It's funny. Someone give that man a medal.
Oh shit!
My humor has evolved. I've been
Why is the-
misbehaving really
Why is the
badly.
priest not here? I'm sorry, sir. He was busy with a sacred mission. He was taking a holy shit.
Holy shit!
Mm.
Oh god! All right, next time I have to miss it, I'm just gonna send you. Hey, it's a holy shit day. All right.
Yep.
No.
Yep. Oh, I'm very much misbehaving today. I need a drink.
Oh
need to-
god!
You know what? I know how to cure holy
You
shits.
probably had enough to drink, sure.
I know how to
What's
cure
that?
some holy shits. You just gotta take
What's
some
that?
pepto-baptism.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Some pepto-baptismal.
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 Ooh.
That's so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
We were thinking the same thing. That's what made it better.
Yeah, we were.
Because I
we
was
were on the
like,
same
we can
page.
add
We
them
were-
all to baptism.
we're-
Yeah.
we're good.
Baptismal. Yeah.
Pepto-baptismal.
Baptismal.
Yep.
Yep.
We
that's
can do
great.
semantic antics. It's all
Alright,
good.
So, understood. It will not be a problem. The sole concern is the subject, Hinata Sakaguchi.
That's kind of the problem here, man. Are you feeling all right? You're starting to seem a lot less reliable than the great sage was.
Hey, listen here,
Oh,
you
the
son of a
dogs.
bitch.
That's not my volume.
Yeah, let's
Where you
hear
going?
you, little shit.
I don't that. The thing's making me say the things.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Well, the whole reason I was stewing over this was because I didn't want to have anybody killed. If I went with massive numbers to tire out the paladins, victory was assured, but it resulted in tons of casualties. We had all kept ourselves alive up to now. It'd be ridiculous to stop that streak now. But this was Hinata we were dealing with. She's seriously bad news. I focused squarely on running away the last time we tussled, but if I had truly tried to fight her, I almost certainly would have been dead, even though she wasn't even giving her full effort. Right now, I was the only one of us who could give Hinata any kind of challenge, and if it was a one-on-one duel, I didn't think I'd lose. If she was paired with her paladins, though, I couldn't be so sure. Striding with one of those, striding in with too much confidence could get me killed. Those 100 other paladins were another issue, too. How should we handle those? If she just wanted to talk to me, she wouldn't have taken this many people with her. And given how she was going all out to avoid the notice, you'd have to be silly not to be alarmed. Wait! Veldora suddenly belt out. I know! How about I just happen to test my dragon breath when they arrive? We simply pretend it was a misfire, and I wasn't aware anyone was near me. Can you shut up for 1 second? You're the final defense line. And I mean, really, really final one. All right? I swear, he's like a bratty kid sometimes. If Hinata did want to talk, and we pulled a stunt like that, it blew the whole thing. There was no telling how much damage that breath would cause either. It was too scary to think. It'd be happier for everyone, us included, if he stepped away from the battle. His plan did make sense if we were in this kill, but I had to know for sure what our opponent wanted first. We couldn't leave them to their own devices, though, because a few paladins were all it took to build another holy field around over me. They had to be watched, but not killed. Paladins were positioned as guardians of humankind, protected by the elemental spirits. In this world, monster-based mayhem was no laughing matter. It was a daily threat to one's life. The paladins Hinata trained grew up knowing that fear, and they patrolled the villages and frontier towns they offered their free protection to. Many people owed their lives to them. The Crusaders held a special place in the hearts of those survivors, along with Luminism. Their strength was top shelf. Each one ranked an A or above. We take serious casualties in a frontal assault. Now, that wasn't the problem. Killing these knights, these fighters with the hopes and prayers and anticipation of the weak and helpless heaped upon their shoulders, would undoubtedly be the source of untold headaches to come. If it wasn't for Luminism's stance on that monsters were the common enemy of humanity, maybe we could have talked this out. I hadn't abandoned that hope, but I couldn't be too confident that this attempt would work out any better than the last one. To them, we were simply evil, and they didn't negotiate with evil. And I could understand their thoughts. Some of them must have survived their own villages being destroyed, their parents being killed, being tricked by the wrong adversary meant to lose the loss of life. Not just theirs, but those of everyone who needed protection behind them. Even then, there were wild monsters causing havoc everywhere. Their numbers had gone down in the land all around Tempest, but in other realms, they were still appearing from the woods and going berserk. If we wiped out the paladins, who would keep the countryside safe then? If you think about it that way, I wasn't so sure we could just wipe all these guys out. If Hinata had just opened up and talked to me last time, there wouldn't even be this whole misunderstanding. Sadly, though, she did, because I'm a monster, and she was stubborn like that. Stubborn enough that, even after that message I sent, she brought a whole force along with her. Raphael, what do you think?
Oh
Raphael,
no, I was just
the
waiting for
AXE loading.
I was just waiting for Moon and his bullshit real quick. You know, had to give it a moment.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Look, I'm busy
We have to
with
run
other
through the moon
bullshit.
firewall. Hang on. The moon wall here. Hang on.
Yeah. The moon wall and his holy shit.
Yeah.
You know me, I love throwing this holy shit around.
All right. Concern. Some factors seem unnatural about that. There is There is likely a high possibility this paladin activity goes against Hinata Sakaguchi's desire. Why did I run out of breath there? That makes no sense. There is likely a high possibility this paladin activity goes against Hinata Sakaguchi's desire.
That's a lot of words, though.
There you
Sakaguchi.
go.
Hinata Sakaguchi.
Sakaguchi in the
What now?
Sakaguchi. We gotta get the hot Sakaguchi over here.
It's like you gotta get it in the coochie of the Sakaguchi.
Ooh, I like
I was
that.
gonna say
Yeah.
I have a Hinata Sakaguchi purse, but that's a lot better.
Hey, Slick, where'd you get those clothes? Those slick clothes at the Haraguchi,
At the Sakaguchi Mall. All right. Anyway. All right. So anyway,
run by Hinata.
huh?
Huh?
So there is a
Oh no,
room
that's
to
fine.
talk. So there is room to talk then. Yeah, this is me taking over.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. You read your part. Now it's my turn. And then
Okay, fine, that's fine.
then in a couple pages it's gonna be Shem's turn. Which, by the way, we're in the 200s now, so we're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Not as good as
Yeah.
I'd like, but we're
Frozen
doing
up.
pretty good.
There
We're gonna do another hour.
Okay.
10:30 is when we're
Okay.
gonna stop reading. My time.
Okay.
All right. Anyway,
Okay.
if I put my foot down and declared her an enemy, there were 1,000,001 ways I could defeat her. But as long as I didn't know what they were up to, it was all but impossible to figure out our best move. There were a few reasons for that, but if I had to pick one, I guess it just comes down to the fact that I didn't want to kill Hinata. Shizue was worried for her too, and now I had taken on her will. Why did I say wheel? Wow. Just rolling. All right.
Shit.
I'll just roll with it. I didn't want to resort to violence. Stop making me laugh, me. All right, anyway. This was all because of how headstrong she was. So annoying. Either way, though, if talks failed, we wouldn't avoid a fight. If that was how it turned out, we were at a disadvantage, really. We were dealing with an anti-monster expert. Nobody we could afford to trifle with, and I was certain that I wanted to avoid casualties on either side. Pardon me. We would need to assume the worst in our approach, no matter what they did. If talking didn't work, I wanted it to be a duel between Hinata and me. That was exactly what my message said, so that shouldn't be a problem. They might be considering a more full-on battle, but if they were gonna do it on my turf. If we could spring a trap or something on them, that could buy time enough for me to defeat Hinata. It was a pain to think about, but it had to be done. All right, I've got it sorted out. We need to consider the future here. And along those lines, I want you to do your best to avoid killing any of the paladins as well. That was the direction I wanted to go with, assuming talks failed, of course. And it ignited some more debate among my staff. It'd be a terrible waste if we took casualties of our own in an effort to avoid hurting them. We had to work out the best possible approach, and the surest way was for me to beat Hinata and break the paladin's morale. As a result, our primary focus was earning as much time for me as possible. So why don't we just slash them all up and silence them that way? I was joking, Shion said with a cough. Is she really alright? The way she acts alarms me almost as much as Veldora. Basically, she continued, you want to maintain the battle without killing any paladins and without losing anyone on our side. In the meantime, you will defeat the enemy's leader. Am I right, Rimuru? Yeah, that's what I said. That's what it is. Glad you get it. Oh, so she did follow me. I was seriously worried for her sanity for a moment there. And if she got it, I was sure the rest of my staff did. But just when I breathed a sigh of relief, Shion confidently beamed at me. In that case, I have an idea. Uh-oh. I began to feel anxious for reasons I couldn't put into words. What is it? There just happens to be exactly 100 members of Tempest Reborn, or Team Reborn. Why did I say Tempest Reborn? Sorry, my phone started flashing at me and I can't ignore it because OCD hates me.
All good.
Okay.
Yeah, what can you do?
Okay. There just happens to be exactly 100 members of Team Reborn the group I lead. Son of a bitch. Where am I just randomly seeing these fucking words? They would certainly be up to the challenge. I'd like them to engage the paladins. She looked defiantly at me. What are you, crazy? Team Reborn's only about a C-rank level threat. Or threat level, sorry. They're not gonna be up to the challenge. No. I wanted to know where Shion's confidence came from. They may have matched numbers-wise, but in terms of strength, it was like night and day. There are some issues with that suggestion, yes, but I think it would be an I think it would be an effective idea. God damn it, my sinuses have just decided to fucking go on the warpath today. Surprisingly, it was Benimaru who defended her. Everyone in Team Reborn had the extra skill Complete Memory, which made them hard to kill with regular attacks. It was unlikely, he said, that our foes would break out their worst, most soul-crushing attacks on the first salvo against a weaker force. As he put it, their weakness would put the paladins off their guard, giving us a hole to plunge through. If buying time is what we're looking for, they might actually be well suited for that. I heard that, you son of a bitch.
Llama time was also redeemed too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I also
okay.
heard that too. You sneaky
Yeah.
fuck.
A hole to plunge through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody stop.
Plungers.
Llama
Yeah.
time.
All right, he was starting to convince me. If the paladins didn't have any way of directly attacking the souls of their foes, Team Reborn would even be at an advantage if they could make things it could make things a lot easier than if we sent any other force their way. Benimaru is right, Shion bellowed. And also, Sir Rimuru, I have been carefully training them all. They have successfully acquired cancel pain, of course, and they also resist poison, paralysis, and sleep. When it comes to tenacity, at least, they won't lose to anybody. Akuro said so himself. Akuro was nodding at her. It must have been the truth, but I thought I'd check to be sure. How did they acquire these resistances, by the way? Well, her reply surprised me. Apparently, she asked Kurobe to make them all weapons that inflicted their target with status ailments, then had them use those weapons while training against each other, building up their natural immunity. They were largely immortal, so they'd never go easy on their sparring partners, and it was so hard to knock them out entirely that battles tended to last forever with them. In the simulated fights they carried out, it was more of a matter of whoever's left standing is the winner. And if Team Reborn's in danger, Sir Rimuru, I can send Team Kurenai. Nope, that's you.
Oh. And if Team Reborn is in danger, Surimaru, I can send Team Kurenai in to help them out. Are you up for that, Gobwa?
Benimaru was talking to the large. Oh, no, that's
Oh, that was Benimaru. Okay, well.
motherfucker. You know what? I saw Kurenai and I was
whichever.
like, oh, Soei's in charge of Kurenai. He'd say that.
Yeah. Yep.
We're just gonna pretend it was Soei. All right.
Yep.
Soei was talking to the large, overactive-looking ogre. Attractive-looking ogre guarding the door for us. She came over to me, kneeled, and bowed her head to both of us. This Gobwa was the squad leader of Kurenai, apparently. She must have been a goblin at the time. I gave the name to her, but you'd never believe it now. At this point, she was an elite officer dressed in a striking scarlet-red uniform. Sir, she said, puffing out her chest, I have been training our squad just as hard as Lady Shion has. Please allow us to serve your needs on the field, Sir Rimuru. What the fuck did you do?
I just I saw that. Don't think I didn't. Because when he says she puffed out her chest, he went, whoa.
Boing.
God damn
And
it.
it's like, I fucking saw that. I don't think I didn't fucking see it.
Oh, no.
Her eyes were sharp, giving her a strong presence. She was also an A rank, maybe higher, which made her at least as strong as Sokka. I guess Benimaru's been raising some real talents of his own. They may not be an even match for the paladins, Benimaru said, but my fighters are talented indeed. 2 of them could engage one of the paladins long enough to allow Team Reborn to escape. Don't be ridiculous. My team can neutralize the paladins all by themselves. They started bickering. Both of them were certainly ready for a fight, at least. Maybe it'd be worth leaving this job to them. All right. Shion, I accept your offer. Gobwa, you handle the rest. Yes, sir. Gladly. Gobwa's cheeks reddened as she replied. It must have been exciting for her, which was fine by me. It'd be more ideal if I didn't need to use them at all. But regardless, remember, Shion, don't send them out until we're sure that the talks are a non-starter, all right? That's fine. But if our foes make any suspicious move, yeah, that'd be a different story. I forgot about the need to interfere with them in advance, lest they toss a holy field our way. If they try anything funny, don't be afraid to hold back then. Check with me via thought communication first, then take action. Roger that, Shion replied, giving a satisfied nod as Benimaru ordered Gobo back to the door. All right, it is now your turn, Shim.
Okay. So we now had Team Reborn assigned to delay the Crusaders and Team Kurenai, providing emergency backup, about 300 people against 100 paladins. I was happy with that. Now we just had the question of who would handle the 4 Saint-class paladins accompanying Hinata. First off, who among us was powerful enough to handle them? By my estimation, the group included Veldora, Ranga, Benimaru, Shion, Soe, Geld, Gabiru, Diablo, and me. Hakuro had the sword skills to keep up as well, although his magical strength wasn't quite up to everyone else's level. Shuna, I wasn't sure. A magical fight was one thing, but against a close-range expert, I didn't like her chances. The 10 Great Saints were reportedly on a level with a pre-ascended Demon Lord or Orc Disaster. That'd be a lot to ask for Shuna. So, counting Hakuro, 10 people, I was handling Hinata. Beldora was out of the question. I didn't want him going out of control on me, so he could focus on town defense. I mean, for all we knew, there could be yet another enemy force on the move that we hadn't noticed yet. We needed our defense to be as solid as possible. Guild, meanwhile, I didn't want to bother if I could help it. I wanted to have Diablo, Ranga, Hakuro, and Gabiru focus on Farmus, not this fight, which left. So the only people I have free are Benimaru, Shion, and Soe, huh? Ideally, I'd like one fighter per adversary, but I was short one body. So now what? I will join the battle, of course, Benimaru said. This was exactly why he let Hakuro lead Yom's reinforcements. I couldn't have him miss this one. I will stay as well, Soe added. My replications can handle my intelligence duties well enough, and Soka and the others are proving fairly useful by this point. Me too, shouted Shion. As your secretary, Rimuru, or Sir Rimuru, I will forever remain by your set. Rich.
Come on, Richie.
He's got it. He's doing it.
I'm trying not to fucking sniffle while I'm in the middle of...
That's okay, man.
Dating Raphael.exe.
God damn
Maybe
it.
it's allergies.
Could be.
It is allergies. I'm aware of what it is. But if I
Yeah,
take
he
a
said
pill,
that earlier.
But if I take a
sorry.
pill, I'm gonna pass the fuck out on stream, and I don't
Yeah,
want
that's
to do
true.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
report. If there is an enlightened level fighter among the 100 paladins, attempting to buy time with them may prove impossible. It would be safer to devote some of your war power to them as well.
Oh, yeah, there's always that concern too. Thanks for the actual useful feedback. I knew I could rely on Raphael.
Listen here, you motherfucker.
I was about to say, that's really mean. What the fuck, man?
That's not
Hang on.
cool.
Yeah, that's not cool. What the fuck? I'm reading in your voice. What the fuck, Rimuru? Hang on, Shion. Hang on, Shion. There's something I want to ask Soe first. Do you know if there are any enlightened among the Paladin force separate from Hinata? Soe closed his eyes for a few moments. My apologies, he replied. All of them are at least in A rank, but none particularly stood out from the pack in my perception. With monsters, it was pretty easy to figure out. What with the way they let their aura hang out all casually. The stronger they were, the more you could feel it from them. But with, for example, Hinata, she didn't feel any different from any other human being. I couldn't pick her out at all, which was what made her strength so surprising. Now, well, we find out quick enough in battle, anyway. Just in case, I want Shion to monitor the group of paladins. We'll have her command both the Reborn and Kurenai groups. Is that alright with you, Benimaru? If that is your decision, it is not a problem at all, Sir Rimuru. Soe and I can engage 2 of Hinata's companions. Talk about confidence. To Soe, this all seemed perfectly natural. One moment, Sir Rimuru, said Rigurd. Perhaps this would be a good opportunity for me to join in? I'm content with arranging our political system around town, but even I want to smash some heads sometimes. In that case, I too am available, added Juno with a smile. Look, you aren't suited for close quarters combat, alright? It's going to be too dangerous for you. And so am I. I don't want Gobta to hog the spotlight forever. Now Rigurd was throwing his hat in the ring. He and Rigurd were both past the A rank, but neither was anywhere near Demon Lord status. It would be throwing their lives away. Hang on. I think this is a little too dangerous for you all. But we don't have anyone else, do we? With us involved, Benimaru said, that will be more than enough. Perhaps, countered Rigurd. I know your team is powerful, but it would be best not to underestimate our foes, wouldn't it? Allow Rigurd and me to take this responsibility. The debate was starting to heat up. All this worrying might be for naught if a fight didn't break out in the end, but I wanted to tackle this with as much confidence as possible. If we were going to pull out all the stops with this, maybe we should call back Guild after all, just for that one day. I was pondering this as I tuned out the endless debate my staff was having when there was a loud noise on the other side of the door. I I told you, I could hear Gobble say. We are in the middle of a meeting. Yes. Yes, and we want to be a part of it. Stop being so belligerent, Sufia. Come on, lady. All we want is to repay a favor we owe him, okay? It was Sufia and Alvis, two of the three Beasketeers. The door was finally opened to them. Hey, sorry to barge in. I saw that bony dude running around just now, and what's up with that? We want to join in too, Sir Rimuru. Demon Lord Rimuru, please forgive our sudden visit. Sufia is being rude as usual, but we truly seek to support you. Oh, that's not Sufia. Please allow us the chance to repay the favor you give us. The two of them were in front of me, kneeling. Well, not directly in front of me, since Gobble was still trying to drag them out by the ear. Benimaru raised a hand to stop her, finally allowing them to approach, but now it was Diablo standing between them and me. Benimaru seemed to trust them as well, but either way, a few people here were kind of antsy about them being close to me. Diablo in particular eyed them with open suspicion. If I ordered him to, I'm sure he would have chopped off their heads in an instant. Sufia and Alvis contrasted starkly with each other, but on this point, they were two beastmen of the same mind. They pushed their way in here, knowing it would offend, and asked me to let them help out. The cold treatment from some of my staff was something they seemed to expect. Benimaru, Diablo, both of you, step back. Understood. Yes, Sir Rimuru. As they returned to their seats, I had chairs set up for Sufia and Alvis. After a few moments to ensure everyone had calmed down, I continued. So, you want to help us? Yes, Sir Rimuru. We are dealing with some of the 10 great saints here, right? It seems you need someone to stop them in their tracks, and we want to be the people to do that for you. Yeah, combat's pretty much the only thing I can do, you know. We'll never be able to repay our debt to you otherwise. Please, use us freely. I thought about this. Force-wise, this was not a problem. But if either of them got hurt, how would I ever explain it to the ex-Demon Lord Carrion? Are you sure you can volunteer for that without Carrion's consent? Of course. Lord Carrion's always... of course. Lord Carrion is always quite tolerant of things like that. And our lord seemed concerned about repaying his debt to you as well, Sir Rimuru. If we don't step up here, I'm sure he would lecture us about it. Frankly, I appreciated this offer a lot. Having these two around would put my mind at ease quite a bit for the battle. I agree, Benimaru added. I believe we can trust them. When I'm gone, Shion asked, will you be able to eliminate anyone getting in Sir Rimuru's way? Absolutely, Sufia casually replied. Those two did seem to get along pretty well with each other, and I wasn't hearing any no votes. Can you do it? You can count on us. Thank you for your kind words. I hate to rain on Rieger's parade when he was all revved up like... Oh, that was Rieger. Thank you for your kind words. I hate to rain on Rieger's parade when he was all revved up like this, but I needed someone to lead the people in town. When it came to fighting, I didn't have complete confidence in him either, but with Sufia and Alvis on our side, we couldn't be much better prepared for Hinata and her forces. It was hard to call what we had cobbled together a strategy, but either way, we had something to work with. Now, my staff was discussing the details with one another, checking to make sure there weren't any holes in our plan. I closed my eyes and tried to guess at Hinata's behavior again. Raphael's calculations told me this approach was the most likely way to avoid casualties. You could say that I had nothing to worry about, but I was still hung up on a couple of issues. One, this whole thing would be so much more in the bag if I either gave up on conquering Farmus or called Geld back here. I was going through with this anyway for reasons I suppose you could call purely egotistical. That was why I had to aim for a complete flawless victory. If Hinata agreed to talk, then fine. If not, we'll duel it out, one-on-one. We were fully prepared for that scenario, albeit with one considerable downfall or pitfall. What if I lost? Then everything would be meaningless. Raphael seemed to have little doubt about my victory, but if I blew it, that would tank this entire operation. Could I really trust Raphael's calculations? I had a suspicion that Raphael tended to err on the side of overconfidence, and it wouldn't be the first time either. It believed too much in me. It wasn't overrating my chances, was it? I couldn't banish that thought, but I had to do this. That's how it always has been, and that's how it always will be. Whether I fully believe in myself or not, all my friends certainly do. I just have to stop wavering and press on. I'm going to say this one more time. If, at any point in the battle, it looks like we'll have trouble keeping ourselves afloat, I want you to immediately focus on annihilating the enemy. The lives of our allies have to take first priority. You need to understand that all this means nothing if any of you get yourselves killed. I expect everyone to make it through this alive, just as we always do. Dismissed. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Yeah. If we were too reluctant to pick off a paladin, and it got one of our friends killed, it'd make us all look silly. I wanted to be sure everyone was fully aware of that. Seeing them all voice their agreement, I reciprocated with a satisfied nod. Now to wait and see what Hinata tried. And then there's a black circle.
Of darkness.
So, yeah, just... Should I continue, or we
Oh,
good?
just really?
Just- Yeah, just...
No, it's Moon's
I don't know.
turn.
First thing that came to mind was a black hole, so I
No,
was
it's
like...
good lord. That's not what they sound like at all. Right, anyway,
They don't make any sound at all.
anyway,
Yeah.
it's Moon's turn.
Yeah.
The journey
We're
to
gonna go
Tempest was
216, and then it'll be There we go.
Mhm.
All right, I love this part. This is a fun one.
Ooh.
Why are your cheeks all puffy and shit like that?
because I started reading and you kept going and I was like, ah!
I said it was your turn. I didn't say it was time to start. Yeah. How's it feel to have the holy shit thrown back at you?
Ooh.
It feels very saintly and steaky.
Yeah.
And
Saintly
porous.
stitch.
And porous. All right, yeah, this is probably one of my favorite ones because this is we're going to Hinata's perspective now, and we're gonna get their point of view on how things have changed in Bloomend and as they walk the path. So now we get to find out about the road that Rimuru built. Yes. All right, let's go.
We're off on the road to Rimuru.
Oh, Easy Voice also redeemed Hydrate, so...
Oh
that's
yeah.
important.
Everybody drink water.
Oh, I needed that. Thank you.
Drink your goddamn water.
Mhm.
Hydrate before you dihydrate. The journey to Tempest was proceeding along well for Hinata. A quick trip through the transport gate was all it took to go from Libelius to Inglacia. But from there, she had to do it the normal way. And without any replacement horses, so frequent rest breaks were a must. She was used to marches like this, so she kept her own gear to a bare minimum. One horse and a sleeping bag, which she kept filled with emergency rations, a pot, and so forth. The trails aren't blocked by snow or anything, but the seasonal weather still precluded her from making this trip with haste. She had rendezvoused with 4 of her paladin subordinates soon after departing. It had been a surprise at first, hearing hoofbeats from behind and spotting 4 familiar faces, Arnaud, Bacchus, Letus, and Fritz, her paladin comrades. Renard, the vice captain, was holding the fort while Hinata was gone, and since having all the commanders away from Libelius at once was not an option, they drew lots and picked guard to stay behind.
We got Hydrate
What are you
again.
doing?
Sorry.
All right.
You're killing me.
That's the good stuff.
Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing at that.
Okay. Where the fuck was I? What are you doing? She had asked them. We would ask you the same question, Lady Hinata, attempting to get a head start on us. A head start on what? I'm merely going there to talk. Oh, come now. You know, you sound less than convincing given how clearly you are equipped to wage war. Yes, and we have no interest in standing atop your sacrifices. Our glory comes only when we serve under you. Indeed, and besides, that message didn't insist upon you traveling alone, did it? Hinata rolled her eyes and sighed. I know, but this is a demon lord, all right? I'm the one who riled him up. This is my problem. You have neither any responsibility nor any involvement in it. Return to our homeland at once. But Arnaud and the others ignored the order. She was eventually forced to say, whatever, and allow them to join her. The road this band of 5 chose was maintained, but it had seen better days. Inns were sparse along the way, and at this time of year, no vacancy signs were a frequent sight. They would be forced to camp out, and even though they weren't running into monsters, camping out in the cold of winter with nothing but emergency rations took its toll on Hinata and her companions. By the time they reached Bloomend 10 days later, they had exhausted a worrying amount of their strength. They decided the time was ripe for a night indoors for a change. This town has certainly changed, Arnaud said after the 5 of them each rented their own room and assembled down at the dining hall. Hinata felt the same way. Letus had said as much in her report, but seeing it with her own eyes made the difference exceedingly obvious. After changing and resting up a bit, they decided to go explore town. The markets were packed with people, despite the winter weather, and all sorts of strange and unfamiliar merchandise was available. The backward country atmosphere Hinata felt the last time a mission brought her here was now considerably weaker. And did you see the people? So much more variety to the clothing around here now. Some of them had the kind of fancy outfits you normally only see in Inglacia. Ugh. Yeah, and those weapons and armor. I think some of it is monster derived. Real high quality stuff circulating. Arnott and Bacchus had trouble believing their eyes. Hinata could see why. It wasn't up to the standards they enjoyed as paladins, but everything they saw was almost too upscale for a small country like this. And all the merchant stalls. And all the merchant stalls. In a world where many shops closed for the winter season, the sheer number they saw was an extreme rarity. If they were open, that must have meant customers were around. And that must mean that, even in winter, this little backwater town was entering large numbers of merchants and adventurers. Or entertaining, yeah. Is this Tempest's influence at hand? Fritz asked, gauging Hinata's response as he did. All this development must have come after trade relations were opened with Tempest. That was the only reason he could think of. It almost meant that large numbers of people in this town were not only ignoring the teachings of Luminism, but actively flouting them. All this prosperity, whispered Letus, clearly shocked, by doing business with a demon lord. Hinata, deep down, had to agree with her. This wasn't normal for him, though for someone like Rimuru, who came from the same land as her, maybe this wasn't so strange at all. For example, the menu on the wall of this dining room. Have you decided? An attractive waitress asked them. Hinata was ready for her. I'll have the ramen, please. The ramen? That's been gaining an audience lately. It comes in miso, shoyu, and tonkotsu flavors.
Tonkotsu.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Each available in a lighter or thicker broth. Do you have a preference? 6 types in all. This wasn't some misunderstanding. Ramen here definitely meant the meal she was familiar with. Tonkotsu, please. On the thick side. And 1 side of gyoza and rice to go with that. Ooh, gyoza's good. I've had that before.
She likes it thick too.
God damn it! God fucking damn it!
Thank you! Woo!
All right, no, keep going.
I'm sorry.
Excellent. You certainly know your food, ma'am. If this is your first time here, and you guys? Her companions watched in awe as she ordered without hesitation. The same. Me too. Yeah. And I as well. None of them knew what any of it was, so they just followed their captain's lead. Lady Hinata, could you tell us what this ramen is? You do know, right? Yeah, it might be a tad difficult for you guys to eat. What?
What?
Tension raced across the table. Don't worry, I only think it will take some practice before you can eat it correctly. Hinata was just worried about the chopsticks. Did Arnaud and her other compatriots know how to use them? Did anyone in Lubelius, for that matter? Her friends, meanwhile, were now scared. Hinata had made them order something on the level of monkey brains.
Oh my god.
After a short wait, the bowls came out. It
Why
was
am I
ramen,
thinking about
no doubt.
Indiana Jones at the Temple of Doom right now?
The waitress
And nostalgia-
Sorry, babe. I only eat miso. Also, hi, Cody. Dihydrogen monoxide, you asshole.
Yeah, they're planning to kill us in the chat, so.
No,
Oh, God.
dihydrogen
Yeah, I haven't
monoxide.
seen. They got
Yeah.
the points.
No, dihydrogen monoxide is it's like a
Yeah, it's
parody of
water.
H2O. Yeah.
Mm.
Because 2 hydrogens, 1 oxygen, dihydrogen monoxide.
monoxide.
Di for
Ah.
2 and mono for 1. So
Mm-hmm.
A nostalgic sight for Hinata, a totally unfamiliar one for the rest of the
Smartass.
table. Brushing her hair back with one hand to keep from dunking it in the soup, Hinata picked up a pair of disposable chopsticks, snapping them apart. They're even the kind you break. Is this what they're focusing on? Could Tempest really popularize chopsticks so quickly that they were already spreading to their neighbor countries?
I don't know about
It unnerved her a bit.
popularize, but yeah.
Yeah.
It unnerved her a bit, but the steaming ramen in front of her diverted her attention.
Yep.
God damn it! I said something.
Kalima! Kalima!
Literally, the manager, Kalima. God damn it!
She's holding like a
I
piece
shouldn't
of
have
the
looked at
tonkatsu.
chat. I shouldn't have looked at
Kalima.
chat.
Yeah.
God damn it!
Uh,
God damn it!
she
More
put her-
me
That
so
does not
hungry. No, no.
That was an ugly laugh I made, but
That's
me so
terrible.
Me so hungry.
Jesus Christ.
God damn it.
Holy
She
All right,
put her
moving on.
hands together in a small prayer before picking up a renge ramen range
Yeah, renge.
whatever renge ramen spoon off the stack and sampling the soup. It was definitely tonkotsu pork broth on the thicker side. She had no idea where they got the dashi soup stock from, but it perfectly recreated the heavy, flavorful taste she remembered. Then she picked up some noodles, brought them to her mouth, and half spat them back out. Are you all right? Are you all right? Arnaud stood up. Was it poisoned, Lady Hinata? Quiet. Just calm down and eat. Hinata picked up some noodles again, this time placing them on her spoon and blowing on them a bit first. She wasn't used to food served at this temperature. It was almost cutesy of her, especially given her usual frigid demeanor. But she was too focused on the noodles in her mouth to care. Good body. Yeah, good taste, I'll say. The savory broth had soaked into the noodles well. It was excellent. She never thought she'd taste this again, but it was a perfect recreation. Silently, Hinata concentrated on her meal, Arnaud and the others carefully watching her every move.
The way
Soon
you're
they tried
snickering at
imitating
this-
her.
The way you're snickering at this, it's like she's eating tonkotsu pussy.
Might as
She's
well
just
be.
practicing.
Pork vagina,
Ah,
everyone.
Sakaguchi likes that. Never mind.
Sakaguchi
Oh,
in her
God.
coochie.
Likes that, but yep.
Just, hot.
She likes it thick too.
Wow, what is this? The soup's great too.
Touch it right in the
Incredible.
Sakaguchi.
I've never eaten anything like this before. They were struggling mightily with their chopsticks as they challenged themselves to the ramen, but their reactions were like nothing Hinata expected. To them, whose diets resolved around the staples of hard bread, salty soup, and fresh salads, this ramen opened up an entire new universe of taste. It was a revolution for their taste buds. And look at this rice. This rice they ordered simply because Hinata did. It was a perfect accompaniment to the ramen, growing sweeter in the mouth. The more something else is growing in the mouth.
Fucking
The more you
shit.
chewed on it and filling your stomach in the most satisfying way.
Hydrate.
Ah,
I need a cold shower after this. Holy shit.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Almost killed.
Why'd you give this
Shit,
to Boo
stop.
Moon?
It's all Moon's fault.
Moon, you stop choking on the ramen.
Yeah. I'm also sorry. This is a really well described food. It's like, oh god, that sounds so
Yeah.
good.
I want
Mm.
ramen now.
I just want rice. I haven't had a really nice bowl of rice for like.
Oh God.
We did Shatner, right? That one was done?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Kermit
I did
was
that one
done.
a while ago.
Shatner?
I did all those.
I heard
Someone
your Dr.
redeem
Evil.
Callie, damn it.
That was me, but I forgot to let you know.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
You're
I'm
too
just
busy
making
reading.
sure.
Anyway,
I'm just making
Yeah,
sure.
I would, but I the camera covers the chat on my end, or at least part of it.
Yep.
Ramen growing sweeter in the mouth the more you chewed on it, and filling your stomach in the most satisfying way. I'll keep that one to myself. I guess I don't have to say it.
It's food. It's food, not sex. You shut the fuck up and read the goddamn
Sure.
book.
Hey,
Read
it's food
the motherfucking book.
Just saying.
This is
Sometimes
turning
they're
into food
synonymous.
wars. Come on.
No, it's not.
And the
No, it's
gyoza. Oh, the gyoza. The contents spread across your mouth when you bit into them, the aroma wafting all the way up your sinuses. It was a symphony of flavor played by a large variety of ingredients and performing in exquisite harmony with the rice.
Why is he
Are you
saying
sure
this
this
shit
isn't
like
Food
it's a
Wars?
sexual soap opera?
Because
Why
damn
are
it,
you reading it like
food
that?
is
It
sexy.
into his reading.
Just
Thank
read the
you.
goddamn book the way it was written.
What about Ohana?
Sorry.
It's described.
Yeah, exactly. What about Ohana?
Oh,
He's doing a very good job at describing the food.
What about Alabama?
Yeah, it does sound.
God
really
damn
good.
it, no. No. Ohana means family. All right.
Oh,
And
man.
family means no one gets left behind.
Although to be fair,
Oh.
really nice bowl of rice is better than sex. Uncle Roger is right, not rice.
I mean,
Uncle
Rice.
Roger?
Uncle Roger is rice. Yes.
No, Uncle Ben is
Cheh.
rice.
No,
Uncle
Uncle Roger.
Ben.
He's the
Uncle
guy
Ben
who
is
does
Uncle
rice.
Ben, what happened to you?
Anyway, yeah.
this is so
Yeah.
good! Arnott House shouted. I can't believe this! Compared with the portable rations of the last 10 days, this was heaven. It wasn't long before a single gyoza dumpling remained. Fritz's chopsticks began to drift toward it, only to be deflected away by Hinata's with a dry ch sound. That's my prey, Fritz. I wanted to save it for last. No stealing. Fritz felt a shiver go down his spine. She was playing for keeps.
So you see
Sorry,
the picture?
Lady Hinata.
You see the picture?
I haven't got the picture yet.
That's literally the expression right there.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
That's
hilarious.
You're like,
She
oh,
looks like
this
I'm
is
gonna
sex, and
kill
she's
him.
like, this is war.
Yeah.
So
all right, let me reread that then.
yeah.
That's
What's
my
wrong,
prey,
Fritz? You
I
are
wanted
free
to
to
save
eat.
it for last. No stealing. Fritz felt a shiver go down his spine. She was playing for keeps. Sorry, Lady Hinata. It was just so good. I couldn't help myself. Okay. You could always order another plate. And appalled Hinata replied. And right on cue, her 4 companions began shouting for the waitress. But then, tragedy struck. Oh, I'm sorry, guys, but that was the last of our supply for the day. The waitress delivered the devastating news. You know, this ramen is actually a new offering from us. We only started serving it last week, and just between you and me, I heard it got its start as a fervent request from the demon lord for his dinner. There's a merchant named
Molly Mile.
Sir
I think.
Mjolmile, God, who's one of the bigger names around this town. You see, and he purchased this ramen directly from the demon lord himself. Can you believe that? It's not selling that well yet. It's pricey, and there's kind of a learning curve. But once you try it, you just can't get enough. Considering this was just between you and me, the waitress was loud enough to be clearly heard across the entire dining hall. The act fascinated Hinata. No doubt she was instructed to advertise it to her regulars like that. Building a faithful base of repeat customers would allow them to create more of it in bulk, establishing it as a full-fledged product. She could spot a few people in the hall curiously eyeing her table. Watching her consume that bowl so expertly probably made them want to try it themselves. She took in the last of the soup as they chatted. Thanks. That was very good. Hinata paid for the meal and stood up. Her companions, seeing this, scrambled to slurp up the remainder of their soups. No rush. I'm just going back to my room. Also, here's a word of advice. If you drink all the soup, too, you'll gain weight. Letus was the only one who stopped eating. Huh? But you did.
Wait, what?
I'm naturally skinny. And with that warning, she left. She could feel Letus's hateful gaze pointed at her, but she was too
See how
happy
it
and
is.
sleepy to turn back around.
I'm afraid to ask.
Damn.
Hinata owned them.
Look,
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
just like
the
to
line.
imagine-
I'm naturally skinny.
I'm sorry. I just like to imagine she's just like, huh? But you did? I'm naturally skinny. And then she kind of does like a hip wiggle, except in the places.
God damn it.
No.
Oh,
she
yes.
did the hair flip and then she just walked off.
She doesn't
Both.
have long
Why
hair.
not? Okay, no los dos. Just
Doesn't matter. No, she has enough to make it.
All right, we're at another star.
fucking Christ. That picture is so good.
Where is the star that you see?
Yeah.
It's right after the picture.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's you. That's you. Go.
Let's fucking go. Yep.
Let's go! Sorry.
Sonic speed.
The group was back on the road the next morning, fully rested and recharged. They would need it, because navigating the treacherous roads into the forest of Jura took a lot of willpower. Hinata was all smiles as she set off with them. But it wasn't long before the enthusiasm evaporated. What's all this about? This is so easy. It almost bores me. Yeah, and just look at this highway. It's neatly paved as the streets in the Inglesian capital. This is crazy. The surprise around the party was understandable.
Okay.
The road was paved.
Hold on. So just to let you know, it's not like this is boring. It's like it's like they're like, what's this all about? Yeah, it's so easy it almost bores me. Yeah, and look at this highway. It's just neatly paved as the streets of the Inglesian capital. This is crazy. literally, they're on this highway. They were ready for like a fucking fierce slow trek through the forest where they were going to have to fight all these monsters, and it turns out there's this really neat, well paved, well trafficked
Probably have to trek through the
highway
mud.
through what is considered extremely dangerous territory, and it's just literally like walking a trail. You thought you were going through you thought you were gonna have to go through some Tomb Raider shit, and it was just a normal hike.
Well, you know what they say, you can check out anytime you like, but you can't ever leave.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Welcome to
The
the
road was
highway we built in
California.
Tempest. Okay, so there we go.
It's a lovely road, such a lovely road, such a
Reamaroo.
nice
Exactly.
road.
All right, so
Yeah.
stop.
The road was paved in stone. Not a single puddle of water was found. It was even lightly banked around the turns. I almost said a different word there.
This
Nope.
reminds me. Really quickly, they're on the highway to.
Look at
Tempest.
Shem getting started with his exercises.
None
Yeah.
of these count.
I'm going.
Okay.
Keep going. You got it.
No, you're good. None
Okay.
of it counts. You're just doing extra.
I'm sorry. I'm just doing it.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright,
I mean, I'm not stopping you. You're coming up next, though.
Go for it.
I'll tell Slimefornia.
Go. No, it's not Slimefornia. We're on the highway to Tempest. Moving on.
And gutters have been dug on both sides. The winter weather hasn't frozen the path at all, ensuring the easiest possible journey. I don't even think there was any monsters nearby. There weren't too many out in the open forest either. Litris, who had
Leadus.
staged a short expedition.
Leadus. There's no R in the name.
Leadus, thank you. Leadus. I don't know what.
It's okay.
Blah, 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 blah. I don't know why I'm adding letters. Better than adding words.
I'm hereby redeeming Palpy from
there.
the valley.
Okay.
All right.
You know, could I do it without the hood? Because I have to take the headset
Yeah,
off
go
and all
for
that
it.
shit.
Just do it normal. You don't have to put a
Okay.
hood on.
Get into the zone.
I
Stop
love
to
that,
that.
I love that
Stop
in
to
order
that.
to get in character, you have to do this.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like, oh, come on. There's always something like that. Stormtrooper. Yeah.
Stormtrooper. Go fuck yourself. All right, anyway.
Aw.
Okay. Fuck yourself, Moon. You know what you did.
Anyway.
She
yeah,
was
I know.
right. The barrier deployed over the entire highway was a shock to see in action. Magical devices had been installed every 6 or so miles to power, preventing any nearby monsters from wandering the woods.
roads.
Shouldn't it be like wandering in the
no,
wandering the
wander
roads? Yeah. Now I'm doing the thing where I have whatever words in there. This made the journey vastly safe, and they saw more passing merchants traveling down the road as they passed on. Those merchants must have been responsible for breathing so much life into Bloomin' right now. If they devoted this much time and effort to constructing a road like this, I wonder what we should expect to find in the monster's homeland up ahead. Nobody responded to Arnaud's bard, right? Is that one? I always forget the names. Arnaud.
Arnaud.
Arnaud. Yeah, okay, I did it right. He was just stating what everyone else was thinking, and they all wanted an answer just as badly. That merchant you said you could take this highway mounted easily enough. He was right. Yeah, I thought our horses would be a bother in the forest, but I suppose we had nothing to worry about.
You don't have to do
Hinata
Palpy
had-
anymore. You don't have to do Palpy anymore.
Okay.
We're just going through it. And honestly,
Yeah.
this is kind of cool information because you guys are learning about the highway.
They're describing the highway more.
Well, no. Like it's your first time actually learning about the highway. All you've known is like how it's being built. Now you're seeing how it's actually maintained and how things like you're seeing in real time how things work on the highway from a passenger or a traveler's perspective. All right, keep going.
Hinata had heard reports of the large-scale construction project Rimuru was carrying out in the forest. Seeing it for herself, however, made it hard to hide her surprise. The forest of Jura, so forbidding to humans for so many years, was now as accessible as a city park. So the party proceeded along for a while until they spotted a group of hobgoblins riding wolves up ahead. Did they notice us? Hold it, Hinata calmly said. I don't think so. She was right. They could hear laughing. It sounded like the hobgoblins were merely chatting amongst themselves. It was a straight path ahead, so they had noticed Hinata's party, but they just waved and approached with into a friendly manner. Just smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. She won't see us coming. Secretly brandishing knives. Hello. We haven't seen you before. You don't appear to be merchants. Are you adventurers then? More or less. Yes. Ah, very good. I wish you good luck on your mission. Now, I'm sure you'll be just fine, but there are a few things I need to warn you about. The hobgoblin changed his tone, then outlined the rules all travelers needed to follow on the highway. No garbage dumping. No fighting on the highway. Use the drinking fountains located every 6 miles on the highway when camping overnight. For added security, take advantage of the patrol
safety. Not security.
Safety?
Yeah.
Oh. Take advantage of the patrol stations located every 12 miles on the highway. If you have the money for it, inns are located every 25 miles. If you see anyone in trouble, report it to the nearest patrol station. And so on. Also, you'll see a glowing stone tablet every 6 miles. But please don't touch them. Breaking them will lead to severe penalties.
When did this become Terrence and Phillip?
Like that voice.
Because I decided to do this. That's what I would say. Yeah.
Hey, sucker fucker.
Alright, anyway.
Yeah, let me read, damn it. There we go. It was those glowing stones that kept the barriers running, he explained. They were these little glowing spots among the flagstones. Flagstones?
Yep.
It's weird how it's because it like goes flag and then next line stone, so I lose it for a second.
Flagstones.
Forming the road. Yeah. We also help travelers find their way in the dark of night, or in dark nights.
Which also
all in all,
you said we also helped, and I'm like, no, it's which also helped travelers.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think I said that, but I think I maybe said it too fast.
Hey, fuck you, buddy.
Hey, stop stepping on my lines, guy.
Alright, anyway.
All in all, the rules went into so much detail that the party could hardly believe they were enacted and enforced by monsters. All right, thank you for letting us know. Oh, it's fine. You'll see people like us patrolling the highways. So let any of us know if you run into trouble. With that, the hobgoblin security detail darted down the road, leaving a dumbfounded Hinata behind.
Oh, shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucker.
Lady Hinata? Hold it. Can you remain silent for just a while? I need to think about something. Arnold and the others obeyed. The party traveled in silence for the next hour until they stumbled across a drinking fountain. On the exact mile marked by the the hobgoblins said they find it on. These markers, located at every mile along the highway, begun at 0 on the western entrance to Rimuru, the capital, and counted upward from there. Each one provided quick guidance on how much further the nearest water patrol station and inn was. Hinata, recognizing these from the trip she had taken on Japan's expressways, immediately saw the value of these markers in the pitch. If you needed help and weren't sure whether to keep going or double back, these provided instant guidance on what to do. It spoke volumes about how much this highway's designers cared about traveler safety. It's worth noting, by the way, that miles did not ordinarily exist as a unit of measurement on this world. But Rimuru ignored that and simply used a system he was already familiar with. The inns were spaced every 25 miles based on the assumption that the average person could walk a little over 3 miles in an hour and manage that for 8 hours a day that easily enough. Merchant wagons went about as quickly as a grown person on foot. So, as long as you weren't in too much of a hurry, it was easy to organize a trip that gave you an inn to rest in every night. Clearly, someone had devoted a lot of thought into designing this.
3 miles an hour
no
times 8 hours is 24 hours.
24.
Or 24 miles. So 24
miles
in 8 hours If you go 1 more mile, you hit the inn. There you go. So you literally have an inn to eat and sleep at every night, even if you're just walking at a 3-mile-an-hour pace. That's actually really well thought out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is where you start to get into the planning phase, and you see Rimuru's influence on this, and you're like, God damn, this is well organized. And that's what's throwing Hinata off. She's like, holy shit. Like, she was ready for
He
like
actually
this.
knows his stuff.
Well, it's like she's starting to realize she's severely underestimated Rimuru, because she was like, oh, Monster Nation, they're just gonna be monsters, and now no. You gotta understand, most human nations aren't even like this.
Mm-hmm.
This is technologically advanced for the world. Like, this is
And
really
she's the only one there who can actually appreciate it, because she's
No,
from
other-
that world.
no,
world.
no.
Like,
Basically, otherworlders would too. Yeah. She's not the only otherworlder.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah. But a lot of people who are from the other side, or from the other world, they would appreciate this. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
I forget, is Hinata the only one in the party who's an otherworlder, or were there others?
in
in
this
that
party,
party.
yes.
The other one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's the
that's
only
what
one.
that's what I assumed.
All right, so
Okay.
they literally just hit up a restaurant in Bloomin' that was serving a Japanese fare of cuisine that Tempest had inspired, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
Yep.
literally they just got the recipes and the ingredients from Tempest. So that happened. Then they go on this trip. They're ready to have this long slog fest through the forest where they think crap's gonna go down. And it turns out to be just like this really easy traveling spot. Just imagine you think you're gonna be wandering out in the wilderness, and instead you're on like you get to walk horseback on like Route 66 or something, you know? Meanwhile, you thought you were going to be like out, but it's so much easier. And there's these little towns dotted in between for rest stops and things like that. So it's
And with patrol as well.
with patrols and stuff like that. Well, police essentially. Yeah.
Well, they call it patrol.
Yeah. And that's essentially how it's set up. And so it's well set up, well maintained. The patrols do more than just stop scuffles. Like, if there's damage to the road, they pick up the individual stone blocks and replace them.
Nice.
God damn it.
And again.
Yeah,
And
well,
once
Dre's
more.
pushing
Do
it.
again,
Dre's
we'll vote
pushing
on it.
Some-
Sorry. But I'm just trying to point out, guys, this is actually a pretty big deal.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
And the way that we're reading
were not
the way
expecting
that
any of
we're
this.
reading it and everything, we're just kind of glossing over that. And I'm like, guys, hold on. No, this is a big deal.
I'm putting energy. I'm putting
it-
energy
go ahead.
and motion in my
World
reading.
Keep going.
Okay. I've lost from my space, so thought into designing this. There was no doubting it now. Rimuru obviously carved interaction with the human race.
Craved interaction with the human race, not
Craved
carved.
interaction. Right. I don't know. You threw me off with the whole thing, and I lost all that momentum. I was doing good there.
Go ahead.
Anyway. The journey beyond Bloomin' went far more comfortably than the one before it.
Yeah,
drinking
the journey from Bloomin' to Tempest was actually easier than the journey from Inglacia to Bloomin', is what she's saying. Yeah.
That's
How
awesome.
crazy is that? So going through
Yeah.
what's supposed to be the safe, easy route in human territory was actually more
treacherous.
more
Like you
treacherous
said
and
before, they're more
ridiculous.
technologically advanced. It's just a
Oh, I
lot
love it.
better there
Yeah.
All of it's
than they
awesome.
expected.
So they're just floored by this. It's great. All right. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm honestly curious what's gonna happen. Is he not just gonna get there and it's like,
Oh, you'll
you
see.
know what? We're
No,
good.
because some outside influence has already been fucking with everything.
Oh,
They
that's
killed
true.
Rayhim. They fucked with Hinata's they fucked with the message to Hinata that Rimuru sent. So some outside influence is trying to get them to fight each other.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a vested interest in starting in that civil war and seeing Edward succeed. So they're fucking with Rimuru all over the place, including Diablo's plans. So yeah, there's all this stuff going on at the same time, and now it's starting to.
I even got there fucking with Diablo too.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know.
All right,
that,
come on, let's go.
All Blah, 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 blah. The drinking fountain the party found themselves at was just that, a clean source of drinking water, available to anyone for free. It was almost a dizzying sight to them, seeing the very modern day planet Earth concept of free water applied to a forest as hazardous as the one made most of the party wonder what Rimuru could possibly have been thinking. I don't know why. I had to take a breath there like you did earlier.
Yeah.
These fountains were paired with cooking pits and cleaned out grassy areas for those putting up tents nearby, complete with benches made of sawed logs and roofed areas to get it out from the rain. The campsite, just like any what you'd find off your local highway. Between this and everything else, the forest of Jura, once seen as the forbidden holy sanctuary by the rest of the planet, was now calm and accessible enough for just about anyone. This forest was supposed to be, crawling with all kinds of horrid monsters. The kind of place where, if you were an adventurer ranked B or lower, one false move could spell death.
Okay, stop. I just realized we passed some asterisks that, you weren't supposed to read these last 3 paragraphs. They were supposed to be shim.
Oh, I thought.
I didn't. Okay. I'll ask you one more. I think I know what you're talking about. I don't see the asterisks.
There's
I don't
triple
see it.
That's
asterisks.
not in Bookwalker.
There's 3 asterisks in my book over the journey from Bloomend went far more comfortably. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to bring this up, but Soka, you did get confused with he or she earlier in your book, so.
I didn't get confused. I didn't get confused. The
I
book
should say
was wrong.
your book, I should say.
How fucking dare you? It wasn't my fault.
It's your book that you bought.
Shim!
Powers beyond our control.
Shim.
Your book.
Shim, it is your turn to take over.
Take it away.
Yeah, this wasn't the domain of human beings. It was an Eden for monsters. And developing it to the point that it was open to anybody, Hinata hadn't even entertained the concept. It wasn't a matter of whether it was possible or not. It was just beyond her imagination, and probably that of fellow Otherworlder Yuki Kakurazaka, too. All that effort they had expended protecting humanity from the threat of monsters, and he made it look this simple? You have got to be kidding me, Hinata thought begrudgingly to herself. Now I at least understand what Yuki mentioned to me. She recalled a meeting with Yuki at one of her favorite cafes in Inglacia. They regularly met to exchange intelligence, and this time the topic of Rimuru came up. Apparently, Yuki said, Rimuru was earnestly serious about creating and developing a nation of monsters. And not only that, but he was sending out feelers towards the Western nation in hopes of getting friendlier with them. And that new brandy cake they were enjoying at the cafe, readily available for purchase from Rimuru, who had invested in producing a wide variety of fine liquors. He's like nobody else out there, Yuki. Yuki had laughed as Hinata took little bites out of her slice, savoring each one. It's like he does it all, makes it look easy, you know? And he's got insight way further into the future than I do. I think that's why he's putting so much effort into bringing little treats like that cake into this world. He warned her that hostilities with him would be ill-advised, which in turn suggested the Free Guild was siding with him. She let that slide without comment at this time, but now... He was right, she thought as she watched some merchants gratefully taking advantage of the fountain near her. There's no way he'd focus on these little things unless he really could do it all. 2 hours after leaving the fountain, they sighted an inn, the last of 7 built along this highway. Hinata's party decided to spend the night here, and before long they were situated in the dining hall. All right, she said once they were seated. I want to hear your feedback. What do you think of what we saw today? Arnaud, representing the rest of them, spoke first. If I may be honest with you, Lady Hinata? Go ahead. That's what I want to hear. Judging by this highway alone, I think the Demon Lord Rimuru must be an incredibly gifted leader. The sense of security his patrolmen gave this road must attract all kinds of travelers. I can't see much of a future for the businesses lining the route through Farmus, though. Indeed, rumbled Bacchus. Monsters are not the only threat out there. You have bandits targeting merchants, you have illness, and you have the potential for injury. You might break an axle and be stranded. Such things happen often, and having more people up and down the highway can do much to keep people from worrying. True, replied Litus. If you're someplace where you can expect help if you need it, that really puts your mind at ease. And you can save money, Fritz added, because you no longer have to hire a personal guard detail. That alone, it's big. The praise for Rimuru was glowing all around. He seems to be more devoted to his rule than a lot of the barons you see out there. His title might be Demon Lord, but if that's what he is, he's a damn benevolent one. Yeah, there's a lot we could learn from him, including a few things our leader in Lubelius would be advised to implement. I'm just glad the divine enemy declaration never came down. Now we'll just have to see if he's willing to accept your apology, Lady Hinata. Hinata nodded her agreement. I'll have to be as heartfelt with it as I can. If he still wants to duel with me, I'll have to accept, but she had her doubts. Why would he seek a duel at this point? Whether he forgave Hinata or not, she didn't see why it called for another fight to settle. Rimuru just didn't seem to be the kind of person to show off his newfound Demon Lord power like this.
Yes, she's finally fucking piecing it together.
Yeah, she's like, wait a minute.
Something
This is a nice
seems wrong. Something seems wrong. I don't understand why he
Yeah.
would put that in his message. And it's like, okay, yeah,
like,
something's.
This ramen tastes way too good.
God damn it! All right,
something's fishy and it's
We
not
need
the
to-
ramen.
Something's wrong. Takes a
Guys.
bite of the ramen.
guys, we need to finish the next 3 paragraphs
you
so we
got
can stop. Like, this is gonna
we
be
got
our
it.
end point.
Mhm. Even with those doubts in her mind, Hinata's journey continued apace. They took advantage of an inn on the 7th day as well, and this one was already as ornate and luxuriant as any you'd find in Glacia.
Wait.
It was even a vast public bath.
Hold
What-
on. Are you trying to tell me on the 7th day they rested?
Eh,
I mean, they are a part of the holy stuff, so.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they-
that's fair.
Also, I
Now,
want to
the
go
8th
ahead and point out next week is going to be a really short week. This is what we have left in the chapter.
Oh my
Lovely.
god.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm. Okay, nice. There was even a vast public bath, the perfect place to soak after a long journey. What's more, these inns always had at least a few people recruited from Bloomend working for them. Trading money
Yay,
for services
bathhouses.
was. Yeah. Mixed bathhouses.
Well, here's the thing.
Oh.
Here's the thing, guys. They don't typically, when you're traveling long periods, we take it for granted because we're living in a much more
Cars
technologically advanced society. But when you go on these long, typically you're going weeks without a bath, and
Yeah,
the
and
fact
you
that you can literally just travel here and hit up a place and have a bath every day,
Yeah, it's like, whoa, that's a luxury.
that's a big fucking deal to them.
It's like taking somebody from the medieval times and then putting them in our current times right now.
Right? They're like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? They would point at our
Like-
cars. First thing, they point at our cars and say that they were demons. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Demons made out of earth and rock.
metal.
Yeah, and how long is this highway? How many miles again is this?
25. No, that's no, it's much longer.
No, that's
It's
just
much
one
longer.
from inn to inn.
There
yeah.
are 7 inns.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
There's 7
Oh, God.
inns.
7 inns.
So that
They're
makes-
just touring right now. It's not like a combat tour. It's like a legal tour.
350,
It's like an actual tour.
I think, miles.
20,
That's a
25.
lot.
No.
350, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. No.
25, 50.
There, it's not over 8.
100.
There's only 7. There's only 7 before you get to Rimuru City.
Oh, and then there's okay.
So it's
there's
two-
one
it's
more.
So
about
it's
200
somewhere
miles.
around.
It's 200
Yeah,
miles.
200.
Because
Yeah,
all right, so
across the
starting
whole
from
thing.
Bloomend, you hit your first one.
Yeah.
That's 25, and then you've got 6 more after that. So 25 times 7, or basically 7 quarters. It's not exactly $2, but it's almost there. But once you get to Rimuru, you've hit your last 25. That's $2 or 200 miles. I just use it
Yeah.
as quarters, and it makes it a lot easier if I just think of it in
Because
terms of
yeah,
money.
it's 25.
There's your 2 cents.
It's 25 cents. No, it's 25 cents.
Duh.
He's like, here's your 2 cents.
Per
Oh,
mile.
you know what? For that joke, you should be drawn and quartered.
Jesus Christ.
All right.
I'm sorry, I'm not making sense, okay? Sorry. Anyway,
Penny for your
what's
thoughts.
more? No. They're
If
not
you were in
worth
the
that much,
military, you'd be court-martialed.
of course.
Court-martialed, quarter-martialed.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
that's a stretch.
I'm not worth the time, so. Anyway, what's more, these inns always had at least a few people recruited from Bloomend working for them. Trading money for services was still kind of a novel thing for the monster staff, apparently, so her party often saw a human employee providing on-the-job guidance. It was, in a way, an ideal cross-species relationship, and it was more than enough to make Hinata see the need to reconsider Luminism's teachings. They would arrive at Rimuru, the capital, the next day, and with that, an encounter with the Demon Lord himself. I hope we can work this out with words instead of swords. She knew it was a selfish thought, but Hinata really meant it, even as a vast web of intermingled bad intentions schemed to prevent it.
Alrighty, there we go. That's where we're stopping for now. Are you guys done?
Yeah, I did my stuff.
Everybody ready to do the post recap of what we've read, or are you still trying to coin a phrase?
There it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So, what'd you guys think of what we read so far? Also, I'm not
That's great.
joking. Next week's gonna be short. We're not continuing past the chapter. We're gonna stop at the end.
Alright.
Of the
Interesting.
chapter.
Well,
So-
you know me.
I wonder if
in
we
for
should
a
just
penny,
start
in for a
early
pound.
then.
We have about like 13 pages next week, so we're gonna get done
That's not
super.
Oh,
early.
okay.
Yeah, get done super early.
I mean, can I?
We
can
gotta
I
do
share
a
my
bunch
thoughts
of puns
about it
then.
First?
Huh?
No. I was gonna ask if I could share my thoughts about it first, since I'll be leaving pretty soon.
Yeah, go
Got a
for it.
long.
Okay, go ahead.
I just
you
thought
still
that.
gotta do
Jeff,
the
sir.
same exercises. Like you didn't just because you did them early doesn't mean
I
that
know.
they counted.
How does it not count though?
Because we wait till the end to do them.
I'm sorry. I had to do them early so that I could excuse myself. I didn't know that they didn't count.
I told you they didn't count when you started. I was
Well,
like, hey,
I
these
know,
don't
but
count.
it's like I didn't want to just do it straight at the end because I have to like cut myself off because I got a long day tomorrow. But I don't know. I thought that the chapter was really good.
Mhm.
I thought it was cool seeing the world building and like, hey, like when Hinata was like, hey, this is from my old world. I remember this shit. This is amazing.
Yeah.
But she was still like, wait a minute. It's cool that you can see her like. I know it's you don't see it, but you can see her like putting the pieces like.
You can
wait,
visualize it.
fuck, like
She's like, something's
how does
not
this make
quite
any
right
sense?
here.
yeah, like you can see her visually do that in your head.
The
Like,
gears are turning.
yeah,
She's
like,
doing the
what-
mental calculus.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Like you
With
can
the- with
tell how
the-
smart she is. So she's like, oh yeah,
She's
this-
doing all the paperwork with the chopsticks.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together. Basically, what
She's
she's
writing it on her napkin with the
Okay,
the
Moon.
ramen soup.
Moon, it's your turn.
Using
Moon,
his
it's your
ink.
turn.
Yeah, go for it.
I think it's really awesome. I had like two funny-ish ideas. One of them is like she's sitting there, she takes a bite of it, and she does an ego moment from Ratatouille. Just remembers her childhood, just from eating the ramen.
Just like,
And then
where did I
another-
go so wrong?
That's so
Just
much
the
better than where I thought you were
stupidest
gonna go
idea.
with it.
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh, the Food Wars one, I bet.
Yeah. Oh God.
That
I was-
thought was there too, but
Mhm.
no, I have a little more class. Give me some respect. Shit.
I
don't.
I
But,
thought you were
I'll
gonna
be
be
done.
like, she takes a big old slurp of that ramen. She's like, it's not just moist in my mouth. It's like, God damn.
Ah.
Oh my
But
god.
God damn.
It's salty.
I had this other just
Salty.
funny thought. I don't even know how it came up, but I'm just imagining them walking, and then I'm hearing the Pokemon narrator just, we now rejoin our friends as they make their way to Rimuru City.
Yeah.
Man, I sure do love these
Honest-
jelly donuts.
Yep.
Ah!
Nothing beats a jelly filled
And then
donut.
fucking Hinata turns to him, what did you just say?
Yeah.
Bitch slaps him.
Fucking kills him. I hate 4 kids. Like, God damn it.
Yep.
Oh, anyways. But this was a lot of fun. It's really cool to finally see the fucking road that you keep hyping up. I mean, damn.
Oh, we're not
But,
done. We're not done.
We're
It's gonna
off
continue.
on the
Yeah.
road to remove
We're on the
Um,
road to Rimuru City.
city. Meet new
And-
friends along the. Actually, no. I can't do I was trying to do it with
And meet new
hobgoblins, but nah, it
friends
didn't sound right.
along the way. And meet new friends
Uh.
like Ronga along the way. I don't know.
Yeah, it kind of doesn't work with the same.
Ronga way. How about a Ronga way?
Meet demons
Along the way,
along the
yeah.
way. That's like the closest I can think of
And meet
for
new
that.
friends a Ronga way. So just
go.
Ronga
And
instead
I
of
don't
that
even know
that's
what
a
you
little
guys
better.
are singing.
It's a. It's
On the road
Pokemon-
to
It's like a
yeah.
really old Pokemon song that they
That's
had at
on the
end
road
of
to
the
Viridian
show.
City.
Viridian City.
Yeah, it's
Sometimes they
part
had,
of
like,
the
music
Pokemon
videos.
OST.
God,
Yeah. On
I
the
don't know if
road
I've
to
seen that.
Viridian
Oh my
City. Yeah.
lord.
It's a really old song.
Bro,
They also have
Okay,
Bro, I'm
post
gonna
this.
go ahead and put this
Post
out
this, we
there.
gotta make him listen.
Here's the thing. I don't know how you haven't. I don't know how you haven't heard this song because I know the song and I've never watched Pokemon.
I've only
yeah.
watched a handful of episodes. Well, no, that's a lie.
I've not
I've
even
watched only a
that.
decent amount of Pokemon. Not.
They were in like the
I don't
original.
follow.
I
it.
was an adult
Yeah,
when
that's
Pokemon
like the
came out.
first show.
The very first
Actually,
season.
it was-
at least.
I was a full
I
grown
don't remember
adult
when they played in the
Pokemon
first
came
show.
out and the way that they did Pokemon over here in the States, I was like, yeah, I don't care if it's anime. That's 5-year-old shit.
Jelly
That's
donut.
kitty
my
anime, which
favorite.
isn't really
Nothing
true
beats
anime
a
when you think about
jelly-filled
it.
donut.
Yeah.
Because everything's America.
It was still pretty awesome.
Actually, it has to do with the
Fucking
fact that we
poor
don't eat
kids.
rice balls here, so we wouldn't have understood what onigiri or a rice ball really was.
Did you know that in the current, like,
But
getting,
still,
I know it's probably
considering-
spoiler for Pokemon a little bit,
But
but it's like,
considering how much anime
Cynthia-
has permeated the culture, people know now.
Yep.
Yeah.
do you guys know who do you know who Cynthia is?
Yes.
Yes.
Rich,
Way
do you
too
know who
much.
Cynthia is?
No.
She's basically, I know because I also started with Sinnoh. I'm probably biased here. She's like the
Gen
champion
4.
of Sinnoh. Also,
Mhm.
but let's be all real here. She's the champion of Pokemon, pretty much.
Hold
And
on.
she's now saying that after fighting Ash, I'm gonna retire, no
Hold
matter
on.
what.
Hold on. Who the fuck is Sinnoh?
Sinnoh is just the region. of
Guys,
Gen
guys,
4.
guys. He's never played a Pokemon game. Just stop.
I mean, sorry.
God.
I know.
I like
nothing about-
Cynthia. Okay.
Here's the thing.
We like
I
Pokemon.
know
The only
what-
Pokemon game he might
I
play.
did say that incorrectly on purpose. I did know that Sinnoh was
Yeah.
actually a place and not a person.
Well,
But
it's
Okay,
funny
so
you
you're-
should say that
didn't
because
know who
Sinnoh
Cynthia
is also
was.
worshipped as a god, so it's still correct.
That's where Arceus comes from. Praise Arceus.
You were correct without being correct. And yes,
those other
praise
people,
Arceus.
those other weirdos worship a rock.
A rock.
A rock.
A rock.
Don't worry.
A fucking fossil.
We need to start up a donation so we can get him to play this game. I don't
Oh,
care
yeah.
if it's his first Pokemon game. He
How
needs to
much
play
is it? How much is it?
It is technically
Right
canonically
now,
the
it
first.
should retail for still somewhere around probably 50
It's still
at the
$60,
most.
dude. It's Nintendo.
50.
Still
It's
six.
Nintendo. It's a high. It's up
Let me-
there, like
I'm gonna Google
popular wise.
It's
It
been
is
out
probably
for like
60.
a year.
No,
Yeah,
it
but
doesn't.
Doesn't matter.
Nintendo.
It's Nintendo.
They don't lower their
Never
prices.
gone down in price.
You
so-
may get it at
Well,
$40
son of
bucks
a
at
bitch.
most. At
You
the
probably just find it on Amazon.
Well,
lowest
if you
probably.
bought a used one, if you bought a used game at like Amazon or GameStop,
Hold on.
check Amazon real quick. I know
although why
Walmart is probably
someone
50.
would give up this holy relic, I will never understand.
It's
I
a
know
good game.
with Walmart they do like $10 off or stuff like that. So
It's
You might
get
$50
50
on-
there.
It's $50 on Pokemon Legends Arceus, right? Okay.
Mhm.
I did say that if someone bought it for me, I would play it.
yeah, $50.
Can I?
It's
I
not
don't
that
know.
bad.
I don't see a place where I can find it used on Amazon.
Hmm.
You'd have to do GameStop probably. That's right.
I don't live
Yeah.
near a GameStop. I live near a Game Exchange.
Well, you can order online. Same with Amazon.
Do you have,
Yeah,
like, a
you
local
could try
game
Game
store?
Exchange. They might have a copy.
Or we could try a local game store. I'm sure there's someone
That's
who has.
literally what I'm
that
talking
stock.
about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, I don't know. It's still
I'd
a
say
good
at
game.
50 it's still worth it. Yeah.
Either way, if someone puts like
It's
60
too
bucks
late,
worth
they're
of
closed.
bits right now, we'll use it to get him Arceus.
Oh, yeah, I'm saying you have to get it right this
60
second.
No, not in bits. It'll take forever for me to get the bits. Fuck.
Yeah, just
So
Yeah,
I'm
but
just-
you'll
I'm
get
just
them, and then you'll get the
I'm
game.
just updating the
Yeah.
donation.
yeah.
Make Richie play.
Arceus.
Yes.
Yeah, it's funny that
The
we have the
heathen
thing.
must
Praise
play this game.
Arceus. It's funny that we have that, and yet he has not played that game yet. He doesn't own a copy.
Well,
That's kind of weird.
We
Well, he
have
hasn't- I don't
Arceus
think he's
because
played
he
any of
said
the
praise
Pokemon games,
Arceus, and I said I will run this church, bitch. That's literally what happened. And that is how I became the minister of archaeology.
I'm the Minister of Science and Technology. Okay, give
Archaeology.
me a second. I'm
Yep.
doing a fucking thing.
Mhm. Also, sorry, gentlemen.
Should
have
I
to
show
do
my
some-
opinion? Should I share my opinion while you do that, or
Go ahead.
about
go
the
ahead.
chapter?
Jim,
Yeah,
you were saying you had...
It was really
Well, I
fun
have
to
to
see
go
he
too,
not
so I'm sorry.
kind of
But I
like
do have a
show
lot of-
emotion. Because I'm sorry, what were you saying, Jim?
I'll just say I'm sorry. I have to bail, guys. It's getting kind of late. for
There.
me,
Oh,
so
okay.
I-
The
That's fine.
donation
Keep going.
incentive is on
Fine.
the screen now. Fucking.
Nice.
Good night, Jim.
But it was good streaming with you guys, and all of you guys out in the chat. Thanks for joining. This was a fun stream. I'll try not to do this next time. It's just tomorrow I got a really, really long shift ahead of me, so I got to get going. So
Oh, yeah.
All
you guys take care. Bye,
At
guys.
least we can see you doing the
Bye-bye.
exercise. Bye bye.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
Bye,
but
guys.
the reason I say they don't count is because there could have been more added after the fact.
Oh,
true.
okay. I thought you meant like we cut it off at. Okay, that's right, because we cut it off at the end of the stream.
Yeah.
All right, I'll remember that next time, and I'll save them for the end.
Okay.
Especially. Okay. Anyway,
You
bye,
got you
guys.
gotta take note of that, Rich.
Yeah, I
All right,
will.
take care.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Go. Give your opinions
Anyway,
on the book. On this
I thought it
chapter.
was really fun that Hinata, like someone who you don't think normally has like any kind of emotion, sort of, is getting more and more of that here, and you really see that here. That scene where she's like, "Oh, I'm just naturally skinny," is like, damn, damn.
I made it 65, by the way,
Holy
because
shit.
of taxes.
Taxes and shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's fair. That's if you pre-order it too. It's like it's kind of like
I
the
can't
$5
pre-order
thing you put on
Pokemon
top of it.
Arceus.
It's
Already out.
already
Well, I know,
out.
but like when you do pre-order games like that, it's like $5 on top of it, whatever. I don't know. At least it's where I'm from.
I only pre-order
That-
games through Steam nowadays, so I don't really care.
That is true. But
Okay.
I'm saying when you do in general, that's what they do.
Speaking of
It's like
Steam,
$5
guys.
and then the game.
Speaking of Steam games, Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man's coming out on Steam soon. Looking forward to that.
Cool.
Of course, I'm probably getting
The Insomniac game.
Spider-Man
Have you guys played the Insomniac?
Yeah. Oh, the new
Spider-Man?
one. The new one.
I have not.
Yes.
It's fucking.
I've not played
phenomenal.
Miles Morales though.
Yeah, I haven't played the Miles Morales one, but the
I
Marvel,
played
the Insomniac Spider-Man game that came out for PS4 was really, really good.
Yes. I have to play on. I just got my PS5
I want the mod.
today.
I want them.
I'm
Here's
not
the thing.
being so
I'm gonna
interested.
wait until mods come out for that Spider-Man game because
Oh,
I
on
want
PC.
because I want the mod that reverts it back to the original. I don't want to play Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Yes. Yeah. No, I don't know why they did that.
It's so dumb. It doesn't need to be. They're like, we gotta keep it.
You know why
continuity."
they did
No,
it?
you don't fucking have to.
You know why they did it?
No.
Because they want a younger looking Spider-Man. They
He's
always want to keep the Spider-Man looking younger.
But that's not a young Spider-Man. That's the point.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
the
an
thing.
adult
Because they wanted to
Spider-Man.
make him younger.
And I'm like, but
Because
that's not
you know
a young...
how with the comics they always retcon that, and they or not retcon, but like reboot him sort of. It's right because they don't want him to age too much. So that's what they kind of did with the. It's dumb.
Whatever. Anyway,
yeah.
let's go back
It's
to
a
talking
dumb
about
reason,
Flight.
but that's their reason.
Oh, Sumeru drops tomorrow. That is exciting. I have done my basic updates. However, I'm more excited by the fact that we're getting Zhongli again. I need to get Zhongli one more time so I can do the shields in co-op. However, also tomorrow, Destiny updates. Yes, we are getting the next season in Destiny starting tomorrow, and we're getting the update about Lightfall, and we're getting the update over which raid is coming out this Friday. It's sounding more and more likely like it's going to be Kingsfall. I hope it's Kingsfall. That raid was so good.
Does the season thing cost money?
Yeah.
Like, how much?
Did you buy the bundle or did you buy the seasons individually?
I think I bought the bundle.
Then you get the seasons automatically. The bundle is
Woo!
like you get the DLC.
Yeah, I
and
think
all
I got the
seasons.
bundle as well.
So,
Cool.
dude, like literally, you guys should have been on last week. Me and DDA, we were running through Nightfalls, just collecting like cores and all sorts of things, so that as soon as the new thing got up there, I've got like 2 pages worth of bounties ready to turn in. And I'm just gonna be like, okay, let's hop in a fire team. As soon as I'm in a fire team, turn in all those motherfucking bounties, and I will immediately go up in my rank, my seasonal rank, and be able to unlock all that shit and get all those goodies. And then my light level will climb up, and I have a shit ton of cores, prisms, and ascendant shards ready to turn in.
So,
You're gonna try
hey,
for Tanari?
what you
Yeah, I'm still
doing after
catching up with the
stream,
main
bud?
story, really.
Hey, if you want to run the Nightfall and Legend and farm it, yeah, I can do that.
I would love to do that.
All right.
Yeah, I'm
Let's
still
do-
like doing all the other like Witch Queen, all the other DLC campaigns and whatnot. I'm still getting caught up with all that.
Yeah, Arc 3.0 is what's coming out next. We're getting our updates to Arc, and they changed. Hunter's got a new super.
Yay!
They created a new super for Arc, and we're like, fucking finally. So you can actually throw your spear instead of having to run forward. But they described Arc supers. Where did Shim go? He said he had to leave. They described
Yeah, he had a hard day tomorrow. So
a long day tomorrow. Anyway.
Yeah.
They described the Arc super as hold W the super, or hold W the subclass. It's literally run forward, cause damage. Anyway, you can read about it on the TWAB or check out any of the videos that they did for the TWAB. Moving on. Are you guys done talking about the chapter? Have we gotten off topic enough, or should we go talking about?
I mean, I was just gonna say, like, it's fun to see Hinata kind of go through these emotions, like more emotions, being shocked. It's like, whoa, and then it's like seeing more of her actual have a personality a little bit is kind of more enjoyable, and then see everyone with like, dude, this road that we would see kind of modern in comparison. Like, oh, we outside looking in, we see this as like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's like they're actually kind of modernizing. They're seeing it as what the fuck?
Yeah, it's kind of a big
This is
deal.
super advanced for monsters. This is a monsters doing. Wow, this is better than anything else we've seen.
It's a super
what is
big
this?
deal to them, and I'm glad that they set it up from this point of view, because to us, if we'd seen it through like the monsters' point of view or anything, it wouldn't have really been. It's like, oh yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah,
it's
normal for them.
But seeing it from everybody else's perspective and getting like this mind-blowing
especially
reaction,
Hinata.
Well, Hinata's
too.
unique because she understands both where this is all coming from.
That she's like in the in-between of that too.
Yeah, because where she knows where Rimuru is getting this from, whereas everybody else has never seen anything like this before. It's
like,
kind
this
of amazing.
Is the demon god's work?
This is
demon
the demon
lord's
work? Ah, just wait. It gets even crazier. But that having been said,
he will become.
thank you so much.
I may not be wrong with the demon god thing.
That having been said, for those of you watching on YouTube, let us know what you thought of this part of the chapter in those comments down below. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts, want to get your perspective, and where do you think things are going from here? Let us know in those comments, and we will see you guys next time. Make sure to give this a like, and of course, if you like our content enough, consider hitting that subscribe button and the bell notification beside it to know when we put up new stuff. That having been said, for all of you on YouTube, thank you so much for coming by and checking this out, and bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Now, to everybody on Twitch, we have 30 of every exercise. That's how we're doing it.
Damn it, I thought we were skipping that almost. Like, we're getting away with it.
No, we're doing 30.
Nope.
Right,
I mean, if you want, I can give us a break. I gotta go pee.
I can probably.
Everybody bathroom break. Woo!